So
Okay.
that is live and good to go. I will
All right.
set it up on the Facey Space and then send it to the group, and then we can start whenevs.
Sounds good.
I'm tethered to my work cell phone this time, so hopefully I won't have tons of connection issues.
That seems like it would be the suboptimal way.
You would think that, but my internet is bad, apparently.
Yeah.
That's
Just the
okay.
past couple weeks.
Mm.
Today I contacted their support. They're like, oh, it's not a problem on our end.
Wow, that's
No.
amazing.
I had a problem like that in a place I was living, and they ended up sending a guy out, and they're like, oh yeah, like one of the cables had been like, I don't know, like a squirrel tried to chew through it or something. So it was like, yeah, so they spent like a few hours like having to like fix a cable.
Yeah, their
And
line
it still
test should
didn't
have
fix
caught
it.
that, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Is this Comcast?
No, it's AT&T,
Oh.
Uverse.
And
Before
they ended
long,
up
I will
sending
be
a
on
guy
the
out.
West Coast and have fiber internet, so it's fine.
All right. We are good to go whenever you guys are ready, I think.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still typing up notes.
Oh, no problem.
Sounds good.
I've basically got all my notes down now, so I was really terrible and did zero preparation for this podcast. And just kind of felt sorry for myself, and then went to watch Coco.
How was Coco?
Fair.
It's very, very good. I would highly recommend it.
Cool.
It had very Pixar style, very emotional, quite an adult context I think, for a movie. It's basically all about being able to remember loved ones after they've died.
Isn't that the game that looks like or the movie that looks like Guacamelee?
Yeah, kind of. It's got a very Day of the Dead vibe.
Yeah, okay.
I love Guacamelee. That just made
so
it so
good.
much more exciting.
Game's good.
They're making a sequel.
I love Guacamole.
Oh, I'm so excited about that sequel.
That's awesome.
No,
Right,
I'm good to
I'll
start
start the
whenever.
podcast. Everybody ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
Excellent. Hello and welcome to the latest and greatest episode of the as yet untitled podcast. Although I think we secretly have a name, we're just not ready
Yeah,
to
we have
tell
a
you about it yet. My name is Sam Harrison, and I'm going to go left to right in introducing people as I always do. First up, we've got Alex
Hello.
and Alison
Hey.
and Andre.
I'm really happy to be on Steamed Ham's radio.
Shh, don't let anyone
That'll
know.
always be relevant. Always.
I just saw a new
I don't ever
one.
see Ham's going out of the zeitgeist. And Erica
Hi.
and Pat.
Hello.
So after that always awkward intro, which I think at some point we should work on, today we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been playing. We're going to talk a little bit about the January mini direct from Nintendo, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Nintendo for the rest of the year. So we're not an exclusively Nintendo podcast, and I think that we can prove that by talking about what we've been playing. So I'm going to go right to left from this one. So Pat.
Yeah. So I've there's a couple of things that I want to mention briefly that I've been playing. The first one is this week marked the launch of the Overwatch League, which I haven't been able to shut up about to everyone that I talk about games with because it's really, really, really good. I'm not like a huge. I watch. Yeah, the app is great. I watch the International every year, but I don't really follow esports outside of that. I don't know a lot of casters. I don't know a ton of player names except the really famous ones. But I've always kind of wanted to try to find one that I could stick with and really get into. And the Overwatch League has been great for that. They have franchise teams that are tied to cities. There's like tons of like you can buy the team's jerseys. You can buy in-game skins that support the teams, which is really cool. And it just has been a lot of fun to follow. I've watched every game that they've streamed this week, and it's really high quality play too. So there's some really cool fun to watch matches. And they do a really good job with the commentary team of kind of covering it and explaining why things work the way they do. And it's a lot easier to follow than something like Counter-Strike, where it's just a bunch of like tracer rounds going across the map, hitting things. And this one, it's got more
Tracer?
MOBA like
Tracer
abilities.
rounds?
Not tracer. Anyway, that's led to me playing a lot more Overwatch 2, which has been fun to kind of see stuff that professionals do and try to understand the game on a bit deeper level. Because I always just kind of, picked soldier, ran in, shot people, and then died, or played diva and did the same thing. So trying to play more strategically has been a lot of fun. Kind of opened up. I get, some of the depth in that game now. The other thing I'm going to say super briefly, just as something people should take a look at. I've been playing through the Cube Escape games, which are puzzly adventure room escape games. They're all available for free on iPhone and Android. I'm playing them on iPad. You can also play them online as Flash games, and I think they're all in Flash online. They're really, 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 really cool, sort of surreal horror room escape things. I heard about them from a Rock Paper Shotgun article that my girlfriend sent me about one of their like premium games that they charge like $2 for instead of offer for free, because they have these games they call Rusty Lake Hotel, Rusty Lake Roots, because the developer that makes them is named Rusty Lake. But they're really cool games. They're kind of obtuse sometimes, but they do a lot of really fun stuff that plays with your expectations of what kind of like a click hunt puzzles type game would do. And they also, I don't want to be too hyperbolic and oversell it, but the first two games, Cube Escape Seasons and Cube Escape The Lake does something that I've never seen a game do before in a really cool way. It asks you to reference the material that is kind of out there, and I was like, whoa, this is really, really cool. So I highly recommend those if you haven't tried them out. They're free and everywhere.
Awesome. Who's everyone's Overwatch main?
Diva.
I've been really enjoying watching Black Widow pro play, just little clips I've seen. Pro Black Widows are ridiculous, but I don't know if I really have a main. I really like Mei. I like just sniping people with that icicle. Feels real good.
I'm all about that. I'm all about that Lucio, man.
Lucio's good. He's like my secondary if I'm in a team where nobody's picked a healer and everybody's like, come on, somebody be support, and then I'm like, okay, I'll be Lucio.
Yeah, if it kind of depends on the mode it is, because if I'm playing capture point or King of the Hill one, I like to play Winston because knocking people around on the point is fun and stuff like that. But yeah.
I haven't played in a long time, but I was really into Zenyatta when I was.
Nice. I didn't hear
Zen has the coolest skin in the game.
I didn't hear a single Bastion, so that's a good thing.
I main Diva, and Zenyatta is my number 2.
I definitely main Diva.
Yeah,
Diva's
great.
Diva's the best.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially the rework they did on her a year ago or whatever. But
yeah, that was pretty solid. I haven't played it too much in the past year, but that rework was pretty solid.
Her missiles are a lot of fun to use, and they feel like they feel like they add more skill to playing her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't played since before Doomfist came out, so I should probably get back on that.
Same. So, Erica, what have you been playing this week? Apart from when you've been playing with me.
Yeah, I've been playing Destiny with Sam, or I'm trying to, but I've been having some...
Destiny? Or
Destiny
2? Oh, okay.
But, I don't know. I've been playing with Sam and my husband, and we've been trying to play. They've been having no trouble, but my computer doesn't like the game very much. I've been having maybe 5 times the load time that they've been having, which hasn't been great. But, I haven't updated my drivers in a really long time, so I spent some time doing that today, and it's been better. We'll see if it's playable, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But I don't know. The shooting, and that's really fun. I mean, that's why you go to Destiny, is for good shooting, and it holds up for sure. It's what people say about it is true. But other than that, I've been playing a game called Gorogoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been wanting to play that.
Yeah.
Me too.
I finished it this morning. It's like, I mean, I played it in 2 sittings, but like it's kind of like a game you could play in one. It took maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours. It's kind of hard to describe if you don't know what it looks like. It's like a 2x2 grid, and you have these little like vignette sort of things in the grids, and you shuffle through them, and like it's puzzly. Hold on, my cat. I'm sorry.
That cat. Wow.
I love that cat.
I do too.
Mhm.
He only does that when we are not looking at him, and of course my husband is not actively looking at him, so and neither am I, so he's 20 years old and very angry.
Oh.
Anyway, so Gorogoa is like, it's really cool. It's not a perfect game though. Oh god, I'm gonna kill him. Hold on. I'm not gonna kill him. That was a joke.
I was about to say I'll call the RSPCA, but that's in England. It's probably a long journey to get there.
I think Gorogoa is on Switch, PC, and iOS.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I played it on PC. It's 15 on Steam, which, I mean, you know, spend your money how you want to, but I think that's like a little steep for what it is.
I bought the iPad version and it's great.
Yeah, it's
Plays very well.
like a very good iPad game.
That's where I'd like to play it.
Yeah, I would probably recommend it for that. I mean, I didn't actually play it there, but I would assume it's good there. But yeah, like there's like these 2x2 grid, and you just shuffle things around and try to find how to make the puzzle work. You're trying to collect fruit. You're like this. You're trying to help this boy who's getting kind of like an offering, I guess, for this dragon god monster thing, and you're collecting these fruits for him, and that's just the whole game. Essentially, it's just you get all the fruit. But I don't think it's perfect. It's like the puzzles, in order to find the solutions to the puzzles, you kind of have to work to understand the tropes. And so I feel like the first few fruits, like maybe the first 3 fruits or so, you kind of just happen upon them accidentally. You're not really figuring anything out. And that's not really what I want from my puzzle adventure games. I want to feel like I'm like the smartest person ever. Like, I look at all this great things that I'm able to do, but like, I don't feel like the first half of that game gave me that. I felt like from the fourth and fifth fruit, and then like the end game is kind of where I started feeling like, okay, maybe there's something to this, but the beginning is a little rough.
Seems obtuse.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's still cool. It's all hand drawn, and it's really beautiful. Yeah. And you know, I think it's worth checking out, especially if you can get it for less than $15. But and then I was also sorry. Go. What were you gonna say?
Sorry, real quickly. I played it for about an hour. I got 3 out of 3 or 4 fruit, and I just felt like I'd seen everything the game had to offer.
Yeah.
I've never touched it again.
Yeah, like you're not missing a ton. Like, I mean, if you want to, there's one more fruit if you really feel like you want to, but it's not whatever. But the other game I was playing, I started it today. It was actually one of the Rusty Lake games.
Nice.
Yeah, this is Rusty Lake Paradise, which I didn't know up until just now that it's a series. But that game's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it was like $3 on Steam. The voice acting is horrendous. It is atrocious.
Yeah.
But there's not that much voice acting in it, so it's okay. But you play as like this guy who just got called back to his home or property his family owns, which is just a little island, and the island is being like it's experiencing the 10 plagues of Egypt, like the biblical 10 plagues. So you play through each of the plagues and you're just trying to find these boxes, and then you move on to like the next plague and you're just back at the beginning of the same island, and there's just new things to go through. It's kind of like a machinarium type game.
Very macabre though.
Yeah, it's definitely much gloomier and gross, and like
There's
even some things for me were like a little but
there's a puzzle solution in one of the Cube Escape games, which is kind of tied into that series, even though there's not super cohesive links between them, where you have to look in a mirror and then you realize that you're Picasso and you have to cut your ear off with a knife to place it in a dish as like one of the puzzle solutions.
One of the this is a small spoiler, it's not important, but one of the plagues is lice, and at some point you have to cut your blind sister cuts your uncle's hair because he has lice and accidentally cuts his ear off. So I guess that was a little reference to that too.
It's the theme of their games.
And then you feed the ear to a Venus flytrap. So
well, in one of the Rusty Lake games, you have to make meals out of hotel tenants to feed them to other hotel tenants who are all anthropomorphic animals. It's a dark series for sure.
Yeah. But it's really cool. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I'm 5 out of presumably 10 plagues through. But yeah, I don't know, it was cool.
That's their newest game, I think. I think it just came out.
It came out like 2 days ago.
In the last couple days. Yeah. Because I didn't even realize it was all the way out. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, and like Xavier and my husband and I were kind of just looking through Steam trying to find something to play, and I was like, buy this looks good, and we just bought it, and that was it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Andre, what you been playing?
So I've played 2 unreleased games in open betas on the PlayStation Store and presumably other stores. I know one of them is on Xbox. I don't know about the first one I'm going to talk about. Final Fantasy Dissidia NT. It's a 3-on-3 3D fighting game. So I guess it's a 9D fighting game. I don't know. 3 people on each team. The beta only has cutscenes from the story and then online play. And I guess you can play against some AI, but and there's like a training mode so you can learn how to play. I don't think that game is very good, like mechanically, which is kind of a bummer. When the first Dissidia came out, I remember being like super excited. I don't think I ever actually played it. That happens with me a lot. I get excited about a thing and then I don't like see it or play it or whatever. Like I really like the idea and the concept, like the 3D arena and like using powers and stuff to fly around and fight. It reminds me of the Dragon Ball Z, like Budokai and Tenkaichi games from the PS2, but it doesn't feel very good. It's like a forced 3v3, so you have to have like 2 other teammates, which is fine, but I don't know, it just takes away from like the epic feel that I think I want.
Yeah, and that's too bad.
Yeah, you can't like go into like crazy cinematic moves because everyone is fighting. There's summons and stuff that I still didn't figure out how to work even after playing. And also ties count as losses for both sides, which is weird.
Huh.
That is weird. Yeah,
like it's a beta, so like whatever, I don't care if I lose, but like both sides lose, like there's no like sudden death or anything, which is strange.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna pass on that game when it comes out, which I think is at the end of this month. So I don't know if you like Final Fantasy a lot, maybe check it out, but it's definitely not mechanically what I want. But there's a lot of fan service and stuff, and if you want to see Lightning and Noctis hang out and kill stuff, I guess sure, go for it. The other game I've been playing, I've been super excited about, is Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and that game server problems aside, there are a lot of server problems with this beta, getting dropped from matches, getting kicked out of lobbies, things like that. I think it's a lot of fun. I was really worried about how difficult it would be, just because I've not played one of like the Marvel vs. Capcom type, or Marvel vs. Capcom 3-on-3 type with like assists and stuff. And also, I've never been very good at like the Arc Systems anime fighters, like Blaze Blue. I cannot play. Persona 4 Arena, I really liked, but I was not good at it.
Same.
There are so many moves and combos, and it's very complicated to do the stuff. But in Dragon Ball Fighter Z, name is ridiculous. Basically you've got like a one button combos on everything, just like mash light attack on square or X on Xbox. Triangle is your medium. You mash that, you get another combo, and circle is your heavy. You mash that, you get another combo. Or you do light, medium, heavy, and that's another combo. And you can combo that off of like your basic like Dragon Punch moves that do like, you do like a flying kick thing and uppercut kick or whatever. So it makes it really easy to at least jump in. So the skill floor is really low. I never feel like I'm like, I can't do this one move. It's mainly just figuring out how to chain things together. And even that's pretty easy because you just like mash square, then suddenly you've launched them into the sky. So it's really easy to do cool stuff. Meter, like you constantly building and burning meter because that's what people in Dragon Ball Z do. They're constantly powering up and then like shooting giant energy blasts and teleporting behind people. So I think it captures the kind of the spirit of Dragon Ball in a 2D game really well, and I look forward to that game finally coming out and whenever they finally get the server stuff patched up. So I'm not getting dropped in the middle of matches, because even if I'm losing, I'm usually having fun unless I'm getting like stomped. But being able to get into like an actual training mode and like figure out the technical stuff, I think will help with that, because I'll finally figure out how to get out of a corner, because I haven't figured that out in this game yet.
Yeah,
but it's really cool.
The game seems super Dragon Ball. I saw a clip that you posted earlier where
yeah.
it was you and the guy fighting back and forth and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then just you guys were just charging at each other. Like
so that was like, if you hit square and X at the same time, you'll start to charge up your meter, and like you're locked into it for like a second or like 3/4 of a second or something. But the weird thing is, like, I wasn't trying to do that there. It's like, fat fingering it on like a gamepad. So I'm starting to think, if I really want to get into this, do I need to get a fight stick so I'm not like accidentally teleporting when I don't want to, or I'm not charging up when I don't want to. But that clip was really cool because I had charged up exactly enough meter to do the counter that I do in that video, to like, because he does his level 3 and I counter it with my level 3 and like teleport through his and like beat him up, which like felt so satisfying. But I was like, if you look at my meter in that clip, I have like just like a little bit more than what I need, and so I go down to like basically nothing after that move. So it felt so good.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I have one question about Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and it's an extremely important one. So I'm assuming that the versus mode is going to be ranked.
There is a casual and a ranked. In
the rank, is your rank referred to as your power level, and is 9,000 where it starts or where it ends?
I believe it. What is it called? I think it's just a ranking. I don't think they do power level. I could be wrong.
Do not buy official stats.
Steak.
1 out of 5.
It's beta. The servers are beta. But yeah, I'm hoping. I haven't touched the rank stuff because one, it's a beta. 2, the servers are fucked. So like, if I'm getting dropped in the middle of matches, like, there's no point.
But I mean, genuinely,
I see your point.
If it doesn't start at 9,000, I think they fucked up. but it could at least peak at 9,000.
Oh yeah, that's well no
Or
because
9,001.
but like Goku gets over 9,000 in like the second like major combat encounter. That's where like come on.
So it starts at 9,000. That's what we're saying.
I mean the
Okay.
farmer is like I think the farmer's his power level is 9, I think. And so it's 1,000 farmers. So maybe they should just do it.
Collectively, our power level.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it's like horsepower at
1,000.
that point.
Yeah.
But farmers.
Exactly. But they left 9,000 in the dust so long ago. Like it's like 9,000 to the nth degree at this point. I don't even know. I'm really excited to. Actually, another thing is I was worried about like, oh, I like to do like rushdown type characters like Cammy or in Street Fighter V or Jury. I don't like range characters really in fighting games. So I just like to be up in people's faces, not zoning people. And you can basically do that with every character in this game, which is cool. Like some of them have more like ranged abilities and stuff, but Dragon Ball Z is very physically or hand-to-hand based, so everyone has the ability to get up close and do cool stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cracking open a cold one with the boys and girls.
Yeah, I'm drinking a Piston Head for those of you who are audio listeners. And it is a fantastic lager beer made by the Brutal Brewing Company.
Very good.
Hey, you can't say that. You can't say that.
Hey.
We're not sponsored.
No, not yet.
It really is sweet green.
You can't say that either.
I also drank a B17, which is a Swedish lager, which is very nice.
Welcome to the beer cast.
So much shilling.
It's our resident Englishman.
Actually,
Yeah,
we want to do a podcast about beer. We can do a podcast about beer.
I have one more comment. HQ Trivia, it came out on Android like right before the new year, so I think it's been out since we last spoke, but or before we last spoke, but it's really annoying because since I'm in Japan, all the games are at like 5 a.m. or 11 a.m. when I'm at work or asleep. So like I can only play like once a week on like Saturday at like 11, but then I'll be like playing another game and then I'll like miss the notification. I'm like,
and then Scott's not hosting anyway, so you wonder why you even cared.
Exactly.
What's the point really with that, Scott?
I want that money.
Look, guys, don't talk smack about my beautiful friend Emma Tattenbaum Fine. I now follow her on Instagram. She's lovely.
I'm sure they're all lovely people, just they're not Scott.
No, who is? Who among us is Scott? Except Scott.
Exactly.
Speaking of lovely people, Alison, what have you been playing this week?
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I appreciate that.
Are you
segue.
Are you saying I'm not lovely?
So, Alison, what have you been playing?
I haven't been able to play that much this week. I've been busy at work, and then when I come home, I've been watching a lot of AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick, which has been a lot of fun. I haven't watched as much of it as I normally do when these speedrun marathons come out, but there have been some pretty good ones that have been really enjoyable. For the most part, I've been kind of continuing on with my Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma play. I'm at the point where I'm kind of not sure what I'm doing, so I'm going through every choice that I didn't make and making it again. So it's a lot of does not taking this antidote to this poison matter for a certain ending? I don't know. So I have to watch these characters die, which is not really terribly fun, but I'm hoping to finish that within the next week or so I'll be able to talk about other games. But actually yesterday I picked up Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Cool.
So I've only played about a couple of hours of it, so barely enough to get through any kind of tutorial, considering this is one of those very big JRPGs where it's I feel like I'm gonna still be even 10 hours in and they'll be like, oh, here's how you do this basic thing.
20 30 maybe 40.
Knowing these types of games, so I can't really speak to it yet, but I like the world so far. I think it's pretty interesting. That's one of my favorite things about. The only Xenoblade game I played was X on the Wii U, and I liked it. But my one weird little complaint about that game was that the UI was really annoying, mostly because there was just so much text on your screen that it was almost like I have a decent sized TV, but not a huge one, and I could barely read the text on while playing that game, which was not great. But I loved the big open worlds and just kind of exploring this world. So I'm hoping that I can get that fixed with 2 on the Switch. So I've liked it so far, and I'm excited to get more into it.
Well, now it's on the Switch, so you can just have it this close to your face and read everything.
Yes. Well, it seems so far from what I've played that they don't have like, we're going to have the entire right of the screen be very small text that you should probably read, and that I can't read on my TV. So I'm excited to give it a shot.
I had that issue with Metal Gear Solid 4 when it came out. Like, all the items you pick up, the text is just minuscule. And even on like a decent TV, you just can barely read it.
Yeah, and it's not like I have an okay TV. It's not huge, but it's normal size. Yeah. I don't have bad eyes. My eyes are fine, but I'm just like staring at it going, what am I supposed to do with this? And then you look it up on online, and everybody's like, yep, this is a problem. No, there's no way to size up this text. Sorry. So
hopefully someone will start. It seems like it's gotten better, but
I think so. I think people
figure it out.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people have started to get to that point where they prefer UIs that aren't completely obstructive. Like that's kind of a narrative of people talking about games has gone to, okay, let's have a UI that's not completely blocking my view of the game, or that you have to stare at without looking at the pretty scenery. Instead, you're looking at the mini map. So I feel like hopefully more games are going to be designed in that way, where you can actually see what's going on.
I want to know what you think about the voice acting. Everyone who's played it thinks about it.
I like your attitude.
They're all like Welsh.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I was not expecting them all to have an accent. And then I don't mind it, actually. I think it's kind of it's kind of weirdly charming, just that they all have this kind of a Welsh accent. I'll see how it gets further into the game. But I don't mind it so far.
I saw all the complaints about it, and I was like, guys, this is what English people think when they watch Fargo. Stupid. That's not what people talk like.
Okay,
what are you saying, eh?
Okay, so I live in Minnesota, where the TV show is set, and nobody speaks that with that kind of an accent in the cities. Just FYI, because everybody's like, "Oh,
quite a load here."
That's a Minnesota accent. I'm like, no, I live in Minneapolis, and that's not what we talk like
North
here.
Dakota.
Yeah.
Actually, can we come back to me real quick? Because I forgot. I have a story I want to tell you guys.
Sure.
Sure.
So I was on vacation for like 3 weeks, and I got sick like partway through. So I spent a lot of time at home, not doing anything except playing video games. And I was playing a lot of Yakuza Kiwami. So on Tuesday or something, I get a call from my manager, and he's like, he's asking me questions, and then he's like, yeah, so just wanted to call and say we've got some complaints from like people in your apartment about like really loud Japanese coming from your apartment. I'm like, I don't speak Japanese in my apartment, really. If I'm speaking it, I'm like at work, or that's where I'm studying mainly. And he's like, well, is there anything like Skyping people, or I'm like, oh, because it's Yakuza. It's 100% Yakuza, because there are parts where people just yell out like "Konnichiwa, yoroshiku onegaishimasu," which is what is reportedly said, or what was reportedly complained about to the apartment people. So apparently, I got in trouble for playing Yakuza too loud in my apartment, and I don't know. It's lucky that that's all that that like the greeting stuff was all that they complained about. But that was a like, oh, okay, gotta start wearing headphones or something when I play. Yeah, that's that.
But yeah, the accents in Xenoblade 2, it's really funny because it's like it's all of these different English like locale accents. So like Rex has like a Scottish accent, but like also one of the characters has a Yorkshire accent, and it's pretty cool because like I literally never hear anything but stereotypical London or like accentless home counties accent, and it's very very fun to hear more than one type of accent in a game.
Yeah, bring it back to Nino Kuni.
Yeah,
Mr.
definitely.
Drippy.
Yeah.
Mr. Drippy is Welsh.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, I actually spent a semester in London when I was in college. So I watched a lot of British TV and met a lot of people who had different British accents. So I know a lot of people in the US don't really know the difference between a lot of those accents, but I at least I hope that I can distinguish some of them, or at least I'm not tripped up by the rogue Welsh accent or like a Northern England accent.
It's Newcastle, I think, is one of the hard ones. Like, even I have a bit of trouble. Like that clip I sent you guys earlier in the week of the Newcastle reality TV show.
Oh, yes.
Where the guy's like, yeah, one day I kidnapped my own mum. It's like, okay, fine. But let's keep this on the actual topic of video games. Alex, what have you been playing?
Oh, man. I have a list. So...
Did you check it twice?
I have checked it several times, but don't worry, it's a bunch of small things. So I've been playing a decent amount, but I've also been watching a decent amount, just like Pat there. So in terms of stuff I've been watching, so for streams, I've been watching about 6 hours of Yakuza 0 from this stream called Zupa Dupa. It's some it's some guy in New York, and he has a wife. He has a wife named Emily or something like that.
Oh, please. That's my stream.
Yeah, that is Erica and her husband's stream, and I've been watching them play some Yakuza 0, and there's been some antics in that game, which is great. I love it. Also, recently on YouTube, been watching Video Game Donkey, who I've never been familiar with before, but
yes, big fan.
He's great. He's generally really positive with everything he does, and he's just like got the most absurd sense of humor, which I'm super into. Like he has Sorry, I was just gonna say he has the pizza video, which I randomly ran into, and I was like, what is even going on? It's like
I watched a lot of his League of Legends videos back when I was playing League of Legends. He eventually got banned for using some choice language in the chat. But yeah, his humor was really good and really funny videos. So I would suggest checking out his League of Legends videos if you are at least somewhat familiar with League of Legends.
Totally.
I would really recommend the Getting Over It video. I've watched that at least 3 times. It makes me laugh a lot.
Yeah, that one's really great too. But yeah, no, wasn't previously familiar with Donkey, and I think he's great. I'm going to keep watching him. Also been randomly watching You Don't Know Gaming, which I've been subscribed to for like 3 or 4 years, and they're great. So if you're not familiar with it, it's basically gaming trivia, it's gaming history, it's like weird Easter eggs, it's just stuff you wouldn't normally find about games, like even popular games, and it's just really, really cool. So You Don't Know Gaming, totally recommend that. In terms of stuff I've been playing though, a lot of small stuff. So a lot of demos and such on the Switch. So for demos, I've been doing Octopath Traveler, Pick-a-Pix, and Dragon Quest Builders. So Octopath Traveler was actually pretty neat. It was a way longer demo than I thought it would be. It was like 2.5, 3 hours. And it's really, yeah, it's visually striking. It's pretty beautiful, but I don't know if I'm super in love with the gameplay or the writing. Like,
I find it really boring.
Yeah, like I think the game, like the enemies when you're hitting them and stuff like that, like even if you're doing it the proper way where you do multiple attacks and hit their weaknesses so they get kind of dazed for a second, sometimes the enemies still have like a zillion health. So even like simple encounters take way too long. The writing is okay. Like I played through the Dancers campaign because there's 2 you can play. I played the lady, and like it seemed like it was trying to be like, oh, we're handling sexual assault in kind of a mature way, but it kind of came across really heavy-handed. So I don't know. I probably will try the full game, but I have hesitations. Pick-a-Picks, the other one. Oh, sorry, Andre, you were gonna say?
I believe they said that they were like taking feedback based on what people said about, like, that was like an alpha or like a beta release, maybe like a beta release. They're like, here's kind of what we're working at, and then got that feedback, and they're adjusting things based on what people have said, I believe is what they said.
Cool.
But I can't be 100% sure on that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I look forward to seeing where it goes then. Should say the voice acting was actually pretty good. Anyways, played Pick-a-Picks, which is basically like a way more complicated Picross. If you've played Picross before, you know you just have one color, but Pick-a-Picks, you can have like a palette of colors, so you could potentially have like 5 or 6 colors, which makes it more complicated, because usually if you're playing Picross and you see a 1, you know there's going to be a space beside either of them. But if you see black 1 and then red 1, those could be right next to each other. There could be a space between them. So it makes it more complicated. It's good. It's fun. Sorry,
there's a free multiple color Picross game on mobile devices called Cat Picross.
I've played that.
It is good.
Yeah, I was going to say, my other half played it obsessively for about a year. And it has like 17 different books of puzzles. And she was like, I'm going to stop. As soon as I finish the 17th book, that's when I'll stop. I'll stop playing. And then you finish the 17th one, and it unlocks an unlimited book of every daily puzzle they've ever given.
Oh my god.
And there was like 2,000 extra puzzles. She was like, I'm uninstalling the game now.
Yeah, there was a good point where I was playing that for about a year too, where I was playing that. I played through pretty much every puzzle like at least once, if not more. That was a good game. Hungry Cat Picross. It's on iOS and Android, and it's very good.
That's cool.
And addicting.
Yeah.
I'm totally free.
Cool. But yeah, for Pick-a-Picks, it's good, it's fun, it's Picross, but one problem I ran into is if you're playing it on Switch with like on your TV, if you get to the really big grids, like 25 by 25, 30 by 30, the numbers get like impossible to read. Like
that's rough.
Yeah, if you have like, let's say like 10 different numbers that are lined up there, like you can barely read them. So that's a big problem. It's fine on handheld mode, but yeah, on a TV I just found it unreadable. So
did they kind of just assume that most people are going to be playing this on handheld, so they didn't really optimize it for?
I think so, because it has obvious touchscreen interface even on the TV version. So yeah,
it's meant to be played on NVIDIA's 65-inch 4K 120 hertz gaming monitor.
Of course. Yeah, or the wall TV, if you know.
Yeah, from CES. Yeah.
That's why NVIDIA says the way it's meant to be played. They're referring to Pick-a-Picks.
Yeah. The flagship.
The colors look, dude, they really pop on that monitor.
You get to see this pixel art Santa, and it looks baller. All right. So I did Dragon Quest Builders. Played probably about an hour of that. It's Minecraft. If you play Dragon Quest Builders, it's exactly the same as it was before, but it's on Switch, and I think it's a great platform for it. So nothing much to say there. Off of Switch. Sorry,
I'm just saying I love it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Interrupting you rudely.
Yeah, totally, it's great. Off of Switch on the computer and everything like that. I've been going through the older Danganronpa games because I finished V3 a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, man, I played those, but I barely remember the moment-to-moment stuff. So going back, I'm about 6 hours into Danganronpa 1, which is Trigger Happy Havoc. That game is great. I still really like it. I think the characters and everything, the writing got better as it went along, but the first one is still a really good template for the rest of the series. But yeah, worth playing. I jumped into VR chat for about an hour because I was curious, because, you know, it's kind of been the zeitgeist. And I don't know, man. Like, you can play it without a VR headset. Okay. I don't have one. You can play it in desktop mode. And that thing is just chaos. Like, it's chaos in a lot of good ways, but man, there's a lot of bad chaos in there too. So I recommend going in.
What was the best avatar you saw? Worst, or best and worst? Best worst? I don't know.
I don't know if I would say it was the best avatar, but the best part was when you were seeing people who were obviously in VR, because you could tell the people who were on desktop, because they're just like static avatar models moving like robots and then just like picking stuff up like that. But you would see people in their avatars like doing dancing and stuff like that, and like just like wiggling around and stuff like just really dumb stuff. And I saw like this really buff Hatsune Miku, like with like I think it was the Rock's face or something like that, and he was just dancing and like bartending, and it was great. That was probably the best.
That,
So
I think there's a bar like that.
Hatsune Miku with the Rock's face before.
it was beautiful. I should have taken a video. I'm sorry. But
That's Fast 9.
Oh, but man, the main event, I've been kind of teasing this one to you guys the whole week in the chat. There's this one game I really need to talk about, and I don't recommend it to anyone alive. That's the first thing I have to say. My friend randomly decided to gift me a game called A Dump in the Dark, which is a Steam game. It's $1, I believe, on Steam, and I think it's early access. I don't know. I didn't really look enough to find out. So the basic premise is that you play as an anthropomorphic butt, and your main way to interact with the world is just moving around and jumping, and then varying intensities of pooping.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
So you have projectile pooping, you have like diarrhea that's kind of dribbly, and like, yeah, it's, you know. But the thing about the game is that it's also like a moody horror game with really crazy character design. Like, if you've ever played Xenoclash, like, it reminds me of kind of those grotesque, weird characters. And like, the game starts with you shooting Hitler, and then all the people around him turning in, like, their eyes start glowing and staring at you, and like, it's just bizarre. But it's also
so what you're
really,
saying is play the game.
It's really bad. I don't recommend playing that game.
Steam says mostly positive on their reviews.
Wow.
Also, I need to read this blurb from the Steam page.
Please do.
Your cheeks will quiver in fear as ghastly ghouls accost your rear. You will gape in horror as you face the dark. Only your rump can guide you.
Yeah, that's about accurate.
Yeah, I pulled up the Steam page for this too, and I'm looking at these screenshots, and when you first said the title, this is the opposite of what I assumed this game would be.
Yep.
Because I assumed it was going to be one of those like really jokey, like, can you get to the bathroom in time type of games, but then this is not what I expected.
No, it's actually
It's 50%
like
off right now.
Yeah, it's like a grotesque horror game where like you'll push around this really fat character who's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? And like, you're pushing around with your poop, and then he like goes into this giant fan and like explodes into a bunch of jibs.
Jeez.
I really appreciate their dedication to their aesthetic in their writing on the Steam page. The quaking in your bowels means that something foul is near. The time has come to cleanse the darkness inside you. In a tale that transcends time and space, past and present will meld into a torrid flow of fear.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyways, I played like an hour of that. my friend and I were chatting together. We were just like, she's just like, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, it's
your cheeks trembling in delight.
Kinda. For moments. Anyways,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
all I got. So, Sam, I'd love to hear what you've been
Man.
playing.
Oh,
Sam, we're not hearing
Sam?
you. Oh, we'll send a message to him real quick.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
If you want to keep reading it, feel free.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Don't know how that works. That's why nobody was laughing at my really good butt puns. I made like 4 puns. And I was like, wow.
They were so good. It was the funniest butt puns anyone's never heard.
They were so dedicated to their aesthetic. I said, don't you mean aesthetic?
Oh my god.
I had a few good ones.
Hey.
I had a few real good ones in there.
Oh, I trust you.
But video games that I've been playing. So I've been saying all week that I haven't played any video games and I had nothing to talk about, but Destiny 2. But I've actually played 4 video games this week. I played Fortnite, the real Fortnite, not the Battle Royale. I played about an hour, hour and a half of the game. I'm basically still doing the tutorial, I think. That game was cool. Pat said he thought it was pretty good, and I think I do agree. I'm trying to convince some friends to buy it so that we can do a bit of the old multiplayer, because that sounds like the way it's meant to be played.
Definitely.
TM.
Is there sorry, with Fortnite, is there any kind of cross compatibility? Can PC players play with PS4 players and such?
Yes, you can.
Oh, I did not know that, so that's nice to know.
I don't remember exactly how
PC,
it
PS4
works.
compatible.
Yeah, I think it's just cross compatible with those two. I don't remember exactly how it works, but I know that I saw that happening. So
I remember they accidentally switched on Xbox PS4 crossplay, didn't they, for a while? That was quite funny. So I played a little bit of that. Not really enough to talk about it, to be honest, more than just saying that my initial first impression was pretty good. And after that, I played a game that I have been semi-chipping away at, / playing when I really need to chill out, which is Forza Horizon 3.
That game's
So,
good.
yeah, basically, like I have it. I bought an Xbox One in November, and 90% of the reason I bought it is because the Blu-ray player is a lot better than the PS4 Blu-ray player, and obviously it's UHD as well. And I'm planning on buying a 4K TV after I get married this year. So, I was like, well, let's spend the money on the 4K Blu-ray player up front, but also get us a Xbox on the back end. So I bought one on Black Friday for an insanely good deal, which I'm still really pleased about. And I played a little bit of Forza Horizon. I basically play like an hour to 2 hours a week probably, and completely forget about it because I'm not really doing races. I'm just kind of cruising around in nice cars and looking at scenery and listening to the 4 radio channels that I've unlocked. The game's real pretty. The driving is good. It's kind of what I wanted the crew to be. So I own the crew as well, and I think the driving's really good in the crew as well. But the problem with the crew is that you have to do like 3 hours of their terrible story mode to be able to drive across America. And the whole reason I bought that game was I was like, I'd like to go from San Francisco to Los Angeles or Chicago to New York and like do all these cool drives, and it isn't happening. Because I can never be bothered to play their story mode / I'm not good enough at racing to beat the levels in their story mode, I expect. Then Yakuza 0, which we've all talked about at length. I talked about it last week. That game's still real good. I don't think I think I've actually been playing exclusively as Majima since last week. I've been doing the first 2 Majima chapters. And Majima's a great character. The opening fight scene with Majima is very fun, and gives you a fantastic introduction to that character. And I am looking forward to seeing where the whole story goes. But the reason why I haven't played anymore Yakuza 0 is because of 2017's Game of the Year, Destiny 2. So on, I think, Thursday, was it Wednesday or Thursday, Erica said, me and Xavier want to start playing a bit of Destiny 2. I was like, NHS play Destiny 2, please. Sign me up. And then they were like, on PC. And I was like, well, I did want to see how that looked. So I played about, 10 hours of Destiny 2 on PC this week.
Wow.
Nice.
Since Wednesday. Well done.
But I thought Yakuza was Game of the Year. I thought that was what you were talking about when you said that. Now I'm sad.
No, I'm sorry. My 2017 Game of the Year was 100% Destiny 2.
Yeah,
Although,
but you hadn't played Yakuza yet.
I think I would have definitely reshuffled my top 10 after playing Tekken 7 and Yakuza. But I didn't play those in 2017, so that can't be done. I had Fire Emblem Warriors on my top 10, so some stuff could have moved.
Yakuza made my number 2, and I was only about 5 hours into it by the end of the year.
I had played 3 hours the week it came out, because I rented it from my rental service, and then sent it back because I wanted to get Horizon and Breath of the Wild. So I was like, I need these 2 games, and I have to send back. I kept Nier, and because I get 3 games at a time, so I kept Nier, and I sent back Yakuza and 1 other game. And I probably should have kept Yakuza and continued to play it, and just got one of the 2 biggest open world games of the year. But you know,
That game is
it's not how I
weird.
roll. Yeah. But the great thing about Destiny 2 on PC is that the load times are insanely short. I mean, not for Erica, we already talked about
Not
that.
for me.
But I'm used to, even on the PS4 Pro, I'm used to like 90-second load times for open world areas.
Yeah, they're pretty
Um,
big.
yeah, I mean, like they're really, really big, really detailed, really pretty worlds. So I can 100% see what is happening. And like obviously there's loads of players, loads of enemies, loads of stuff is happening all the time. So I can see why it's a long load. But on my laptop from an SSD, it's like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Loading into a social space, if it's not that crowded, is literally so quick. It's made the game interesting. Also, this is the first shooter I've played with a PC with a keyboard and mouse, because when I got it, I was like, I'm going to make a serious effort. So I never play games keyboard and mouse. I'm always a controller guy. I've always been a controller guy. The first FPS I ever played was Time Splitters, and so I've just kept with that the whole time. I decided, like, you know what, screw it, I'll try mouse and keyboard. And it's really interesting because it changes the dynamic a lot of how the enemies work. So like in Destiny 2 on PS4, I will often find characters that are low health but move around a lot, pretty easy to take down because you kind of, the auto aim helps you a lot. But I'm also a lot more mobile on a console, so I find moving with WASD quite difficult. But then moving over to PC, I'm finding the wiggling around like small guys quite difficult because I'm not very mobile. And things like big enemy, high level characters, I'm just putting the mouse pointer on their face and clicking until they're not standing up anymore.
Yep.
Like you very, very infrequently get to the point where a knight will put up its shield. Whereas I feel like on PS4, every time you face a knight, they put the shield up and you have to wait for it to pull down. So it's kind of changed the way that I'm playing a little bit. I'm still only level 8, so I'm not really going that far. I'm playing the one character class that I never took too seriously in PS4, so I'm kind of trying new things. It's been fun to play with Erica and Xavier as well. We did about an hour last night, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Destiny 2 still continues to be one of my favorite games this generation. I expect that I will be playing this game to at least level 20. My metric for games is that I need to get about £3 an hour worth of enjoyment out of it, and I think I've already got that out of Destiny 2 on PC. So, yeah, sorry for everyone who doesn't like Destiny. I talked about that for a long time.
And not even like the DLC or anything. You just talked about vanilla ass Destiny.
I'm thinking about the base game, and I've
Destiny
literally
2.
only just finished Titan, the second planet.
But can you shoot poop?
Yeah, because A Dump in the Dark did come out last year, so we might have to revisit.
It was early access. We can't. It couldn't have been on the list.
Yeah, that's true.
Was it?
Look,
Okay.
I think we should consider it, and I think Fire Pro also belongs on the list.
Dump in the Dark is still in early access, so it's Fire Pro did come out last year. But,
yeah.
What if I think Dump in the Dark is probably 2018's game of the year. I think it's safe to say that now.
Okay, sure.
Definitely the scariest game of the year.
Yeah, I'm too scared to play it.
My cheeks are already quivering.
Oh, no.
Oh,
So how about that
no.
Nintendo?
Yeah. Speaking of things that weren't poop, Nintendo.
Dump in the Dark coming to Nintendo Switch Halloween 2018.
Oh no.
That's gonna be the main direct that comes in like what 2 weeks
No.
from now.
Main direct. It's like just a dump in the dark too. It's not like, oh, let's talk about
A
Talking about
dump-
Metroid.
a-
your Pokemon. No, it's just purely that port.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you a name for this podcast, this episode of this podcast. A dump in the direct.
Oh,
Ooh.
All right.
Or a
writing it
direct in
down.
the dark.
A Direct in the Dark, I think, is funnier.
But it doesn't have dump it. I was like, how does it
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't have the word dumping.
yeah.
Dump a Direct in the Dark.
Direct to
That's
dump.
Go direct to the dump.
Anyway, okay, this Nintendo Direct. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So I will read out the things that were talked about in the order they were talked about, and then we can pick out some highlights if we want to. So starting off, The World Ends With You remix, a final remix on Nintendo Switch. Pokken Tournament DLC. Kirby and his
Yeah.
friends in Kirby Star Allies. So interesting that they didn't. That was the first time they gave Kirby Star Allies a name, and they didn't really say anything interesting there. What? I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry.
They give it a release date.
Hyrule Warriors Final Super Special Edition. Mario Tennis Aces. East 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. Break out the balloons in a update for Super Mario Odyssey. I'm reading off of the Reddit post that Alex gave, so I thought that was a game for 2 seconds. Mario Odyssey DLC, free DLC, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy, Mario Rabbids DLC. DLC stands for Donkey Loadable Content.
Mhm.
True.
Payday 2, FE, and Celeste, and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I think that was it. I don't think anything else was mentioned.
Nope.
So what some people may consider to be Game of the Director was mentioned right at the end, which was Dark Souls Remastered.
That's the game of the Direct, really?
A
For
lot
a
of
lot
people
of
were
people, I'd
extremely
say.
high on it.
Yeah.
That's weird to me.
I agree that that's weird. As excited as I am about it, it's I don't know. I think The World Ends With You is a bigger deal personally, but
That is probably the game I am most interested. I don't know anything about
Same.
The World Ends With You. I've heard people like it, and
great. Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
play it.
I
So
played
that'll
about.
be-
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Steve Kess gives the suggestion of directly dumping in the dark.
Oh.
Anyways,
one.
continue, please.
Yeah, The World Ends With You. I put about maybe 15 hours or so into it last year on the iOS port. And I bought the game because it seemed like a good game to listen to podcasts at the same time. But my podcast app wouldn't play at the same time that I was playing the game, so I fell off of it. But if I have it on the Switch, then I can listen to my podcasts. So
I think it'll be really interesting. I guess since it's the first thing on the list, we may as well just continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see how it translates on Switch, because to me, the thing that really made that game special was the difference in control methods between what was happening on the top screen and what was happening on the touch screen.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
I really hope that translates well to the Switch in handheld mode. But
Yeah.
again, it's one screen instead of a screen on top of the other one. So I'm a little concerned about how that's going to translate control-wise, because I think that's what makes that game special, really.
Mhm.
It's got a great style and a great look, but without the gameplay is really special because it's a challenge mentally to manage the two different games that you're playing at the same time.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I hope they have a way to do that.
Yeah, that's not
Good.
really a thing as much in the iOS port. Like my husband played it when it was new, like 10 years ago, and he saw me playing the iOS version, and he said, "This is like it, it still has the style, it still has the story, and it still, obviously looks really nice, but it's just the gameplay didn't do it for him." So
Yeah, I'll play it again either way. I'd definitely buy it on the Switch and try it out, because I never did buy the iOS one. But maybe with the addition of at least having tactile buttons on the Switch, that
Yeah.
might help with that a little bit. But I would hope
Well,
they find a way to address that.
I thought I
Yeah.
read that they've got like a new control scheme, or you can do like the old. They'll integrate the touchscreen stuff into it.
Cool.
So I think I read that there are 2 ways to play it.
From
It's
what I
still worth
saw-
seeing because the story is really cool and it does look really nice. But
From what I saw, it looked like touchscreen control a la the iOS version, but also you can use Joy-Cons as pointers, like they were Wii remotes, and do button combinations on the Joy-Cons at the same time.
Interesting.
that could be neat.
That
Because there
sounds
were
kind of
button
cool.
combos on screen in one of the sections.
Yeah, I didn't pay close enough attention because I was at work kind of side-eyeing the direct. So
That's how I watched it too. I'm excited to try it because it's one of those games where I've heard about it a lot. It's it's something that has such a big kind of cult following that I'm really excited to give it a shot because I never picked it up when it was on DS. So
they didn't produce that many copies of it on DS either, so it's actually kind of hard to find.
Yeah.
I like cherish the copy that I have, even though I haven't really played DS in a while. It's like I keep it safely on a shelf in the case and never take it out because it's kind of tough.
Yeah, Nintendo did that thing where they made like 6 copies of a game, and they didn't really have like much of a digital store at the time. It's like, okay, I guess you're just not going to be able to buy Metroid or whatever.
yeah.
Next up, we've got the Pokken Tournament DLC. Anyone like Pokken?
Nope.
No.
No, I tried the demo on the Switch store, and I played it, and I was like, it wasn't for me. But
I never played it, but I really wanted to play and like it. I just heard such mixed things. I never tried it. I'm actually going to download the demo, I think, check it out just to see.
I played it on Wii U, and I thought the story mode that they had in there's no story to it. It's just like a tournament mode in the same kind of way that like Mario levels work, I guess, that you pick levels off of a like track. I actually quite liked the what I played. I think I bought it for about 20 quid, and that was nearly new, like a month after it came out. So I wouldn't. I've not bought it again on Switch because I've had my time with that, I think, and I don't know any reason why I would bust it out again. But it's not a bad game in any way, shape, or form. I think it's fun. I wouldn't solidly recommend it to anyone, but if you see a good deal,
yeah, that's the tough thing for me is I don't really want to spend $60 on it. So that's kind of the. I would get it for like 30, I think.
The Nintendo
Yeah, I
game,
know.
so it's never going to come down in price.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like Pokemon enough where that's a shame that there's not much of a story mode, but it's the type of thing where I might be interested if it was cheaper, but I don't play enough fighting games to really justify $60 for a fighting game, even if it's a Pokemon fighting game.
We'll talk about Pokemon later.
Yep.
Yes.
Next up, we have this little guy.
Oh.
So next we have Kirby Star Allies. So Kirby Star Allies, the newly named Switch Kirby game. For 2 seconds, I thought this was a 3DS game, and then was like, no, wait, this looks way too good. But I'm super excited to play this game. And when I say super excited, I mean I have a mild excitement, and I think that my other half will play a lot of it. Even though she doesn't particularly like the Switch, I think she'll give it a shot for Kirby. This one's coming out on March 16th, which is my mother's birthday. So obviously that's very important to me.
Happy birthday, Mom. Here's a Kirby game.
Yeah, happy birthday. I'm going to sit in the corner and play this video game. No, you can't look. But yeah, I'm interested in that. Depending on what other stuff is out around that time, I'll probably pick that up. Anyone else interested in that Kirby action?
I mean, I'll play it, but
I'm
I don't want to derail the. I want to derail the conversation, but I just looked up my favorite Kirby game and learned that it was critically panned on release, which is heartbreaking. And that Kirby game is Kirby Air Ride.
Is that an N64 one?
No, it's a GameCube game. It's like a kart. Their attempt to do a kart racer. It had this goofy open world, like I don't even remember, like battle mode that I really, really loved. But it's kind of an aside. Otherwise, I've never really understood the appeal for Kirby, but
Did you play Epic Yarn?
no.
That's the only one I like.
Yeah, I
The only
had
one?
a Wii, but not a Wii U. I think that was on Wii.
It's on Wii, yeah.
I was never too crazy about actually playing the Wii, so I just skipped a lot of stuff. On
Oh
it,
man.
frankly.
But what about Kirby Superstar? That game is great.
It's okay. I'm not really a huge platformer guy, so it's definitely not. I'm probably the wrong person to have any sort of opinion about Kirby.
I played a lot of Kirby on I think Kirby in Dreamland or whatever that game was
Yes.
on the original
The Game Boy?
Game Boy.
Yeah.
Game Boy, yeah,
in
that was a cool
green.
game.
Oh,
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This game-
I did love that
yeah.
game.
This game has 4-player co-op.
yeah. It
Pretty
seems
cool.
Or
it seems
yeah.
really it seems super appealing for a local co-op game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that actually makes me more interested in it.
Yeah, I'm
If
kind
it
of
has
interested.
online co-op, I'd also be interested.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that too. I somehow managed to get an SNES Classic before
cool.
the holidays, and so I played it with my sibling, and we really enjoyed playing Kirby Superstar together. So maybe like it's the type of thing where maybe if I want to play it with my sibling, then we could play Kirby Star Allies. But I don't know if it's something I necessarily get immediately from just me.
That might be a rental for me. I don't know whether I'll be buying it, but I'm interested in it. Moving swiftly onwards, we have Ultimate Hyrule Warriors. Anyone interested in that?
I am. I liked Hyrule Warriors for Wii U. It was a good time. It was a good game that I also played with my sibling. So I liked it. I never got it for 3DS, mostly because when it came out, I had heard that the 3DS it worked a lot better on the new 3DS than on the actual
Right.
3DS. So I eventually did get a new 3DS, but I hadn't picked up Hyrule Warriors for it. So I'm definitely interested. It's not something where I don't know if I necessarily need to buy it for the full 60 is the thing. Just because I played a fair amount of it for Wii U, and so I don't know if I necessarily need to replay a ton of it, but I do kind of want to, mostly because Linkle is an adorable character. So I kind of want to play as Linkle, but yeah.
I'm interested in it because I had a lot of fun with Fire Emblem Warriors. So I'd be tempted to pick that up in any sort of summer, spring lull. That game is out in spring, so might be in the middle of other games.
Is Linkle the love child of Link and Tingle?
It's Link, but what if Link was a girl and she's really adorable.
but Linkle? But I knew this was a thing, but now I'm just saying, I'm like, is Tingle in this game? Tingle should be in this game.
Tingle is in the game.
Did Link and Tingle,
I'm
was there
sure.
like some fan fiction happening?
Ooh.
I don't need.
Has anyone read the Hyrule Historia? Is this something that is canon?
I'm gonna say it's canon now.
Yeah.
I think
It's canon, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, in Breath of the Wild, Link is running around in Tingle's clothes. Like maybe the wash wasn't done, so he had to like grab something real quick and gotta go. Sorry.
I'm just gonna borrow your sweater for a minute. Yeah.
and hat and boots.
His one piece. I don't even know, like his spandex onesie. Like it probably wasn't even clean. It was probably like off the ground. Oh man.
Speaking of love, how about Mario Tennis Aces?
Oh wow.
What
That
is
was
this?
good.
Is this love for Mr. Eyeballs?
No,
Yeah.
that's
No,
like
this is
tennis
love.
love. Tennis
Tennis
love.
Tennis love.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, I will definitely fuck with that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
That's
know.
a day one buy for me.
Because
I'll probably get it. I didn't think I was into like sports games, but then I played Golf Story and I really liked Golf Story. So the thing that got me interested was the when they mentioned the story mode. That I was intrigued by that.
Yeah.
What about Waluigi's hair?
I didn't actually notice
too.
that.
Visibly hair.
Wow.
Like okay, so Bowser's hair in Odyssey was real good.
Yeah.
And Waluigi's hair is pretty good. So like imagine the other hair we're going to see in that game.
But yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
this is where we find out that Yoshi really has feathers.
ooh, he's a true dinosaur. But
Wow.
yeah, the Mario Tennis games have historically had pretty great story modes, especially because that's where Mr. Eyeballs came from. That's where Waluigi first shined. So I'd love to see them do something.
Might
really...
be if this was like a Waluigi focused story mode, that would be so good.
That would be
That
so
would be kind of
perfect.
amazing, actually.
And then he just Waluigi tennis.
I'm sold. So with that spin-off.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the
I don't
DLC.
know. I don't know how much there is to say too much on that one. It's a spring 2018 release date. That's my number one at this direct. That was my most interested game. I like tennis games. I'm not a big sports person at all, as I don't think any of us are. But I love tennis, and so really looking forward to playing that bad boy. Next up, we have got, unless anyone else has got anything to say about tennis, sorry.
Nope.
Excellent. I was worried I was running rough over everybody.
You could say it's going to be a grand slam.
Oh,
no. Is that baseball? Is that baseball? I don't know.
Yeah, it's baseball.
Baseball.
I don't know sports.
Grand Slam is tennis as well.
Oh, okay.
Mario Baseball.
Is it actually
confirmed for the Switch?
Wow.
Oh, if only.
Grand Slam is when you win Wimbledon, the US Open, and the Australian Open, I think.
Oh,
I
interesting.
believe that's the yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Please, no one who knows anything about tennis watch.
Hilariously, you also hit Grand Slams in baseball, and you can win the Triple Crown in baseball, which is also a horse racing thing.
And you can get a Grand Slam at Denny's.
Yes.
That's
So
true.
Denny's, baseball, and tennis,
and then
are
eating at Denny's is going to
Sounds
give you a
similar.
dump in the dark.
Full circle.
What have we done? Sorry.
The only baseball term that I know is Fancy Dan, and I learned that from the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode about baseball.
I'm an avid baseball fan, and I've never actually heard anyone say that, other than in that context.
It's when you do a catch, but with a flourish.
Yes.
Like
I
in
know the reference.
like in Sneak King, when you can deliver a Whopper or deliver a Whopper with a flourish.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Next up on the direct.
Ease.
YS.
Ease
Lacrimosa of Dana, which came out last year on current gen systems. I actually think that game looks kind of interesting, but honestly, I could wait until summer to play it on Switch, or I could rent it right now. So
yeah, I think it could be great on Switch, especially portable. I played about an hour of it on my Vita before my Vita was absorbed by my friend and I never saw it again. But I think a portable system is a perfect way to play that kind of JRPG, like the kind of third-person action JRPG.
Yeah, this
it looks like it might scratch the Monster Hunter itch. I don't know.
So could Monster Hunter.
But Monster Hunter will scratch that itch.
Yeah, but it's summer. I'll be done with Monster Hunter in summer.
They've announced free DLC throughout the year for Monster Hunter. You'll never be done with Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter might be done with me.
It's dark.
So
next up,
question
Mario
for
Odyssey
you guys.
downloadable content.
When you guys were watching the direct and you saw Luigi show up, were you psyched? And then you were like, "Oh, he's just a dude floating around, and you don't get to play as
Luigi
him."
Odyssey, let's do this.
The year of Luigi was some bullshit, and it took so much from us. I'm not ready to let Luigi back into my heart.
Yeah, I don't think he gets let
I
off the
agree.
hook that easily.
I get behind that.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, like Mario Odyssey was my favorite game last year, and I want to play more of it, but I don't think this is it for me.
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, okay. I don't know if I necessarily need to play a game of hiding balloons, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine, I guess.
I could
Yeah.
see it like being a thing that I try one night, like if I'm super drunk and don't can't figure out anything else to play and like not coordinated enough, I won't feel bad about losing like 30 seconds of my life. But you know,
It seems
That's
like
such a bleak specific scenario.
that's honestly the only scenario I can possibly see myself playing that.
The most
Like
interesting
3
thing for me,
a.m. drunk.
All
the
right.
interesting thing for me is that if you look real close, you can see that Luigi's wearing an ankle monitor because he's still serving time for the year of Luigi.
Oh, that piece of shit.
Speaking of, I was going to make a segue there, but it won't work anymore. SNKO and Tag Team Frenzy. I like anime and I like fighters, and I don't think this game is for me.
yeah.
Doesn't
You
look
like
very
anime
good.
and you like fighters. Let me tell you about Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
I've
I like fighters, not Fighter Z, Andre.
yeah.
Fighters.
I've liked SNK fighting games in the past, and I also don't know if this one's for me.
What makes you think it's not for you?
I don't know. I haven't played an SNK game since I don't know, SNK versus Capcom or something like that. And just nothing about this one seemed like it was doing anything that was going to draw me in. Like, I don't care about it being all the female characters from SNK. Like, that doesn't really make any kind of
But
difference for me.
Yeah, it seems like just what they should do, and they might not do it. They might take the wrong message from if people don't play this one or don't buy it much. Is they should just put those characters in like whatever SNK game they make, and not just make it. Here's the girl version.
Yeah, like if this was a new King of Fighters, I'd be super psyched.
It looks bad, and that's why I'm not interested in it.
Okay,
The animation looked really stiff to me in it, but yeah.
I don't know. I've only got room for one boob fighter game in my life, and it's Dead or Alive. I can't believe I panned on that name for so long.
Jumper Alive?
Skullgirls, man. Skullgirls.
Oh
my
no!
God.
Podcast sold. Mario Plus Rabbids Donkey DLC.
Donkey.
Donkey Kong. Yeah.
Not
Donkey
Donkey.
Kong DLC.
Yeah, Donkey Kong DLC. That's what we need.
I'm like a little disappointed to find out he wasn't in the game to begin with.
Yeah.
I didn't know until just now, but I mean, I just bought
They
that
kind
game,
of-
but I haven't played it yet.
They've kind of separated Donkey Kong off from like the Mario stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's in Smash but like Mario and Donkey Kong don't really interact anymore, aside from like retro, like OG Donkey Kong in Odyssey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is Donkey Kong Jr., so I don't know whether you want to hang out with the guy who killed your dad.
True. Yeah. I
R.I.P. Harambe.
Yeah, I like Mario Rabbids like a lot more than I thought I would. So I'm interested, but I still haven't finished it. So I don't know if I'll buy the DLC until I actually go in and finish the original campaign.
I
think I'm halfway through World 3.
That's about where I'm
That's
at.
about where I'm at too.
That game,
I will not finish that game.
That game is weirdly hard.
It
Luckily,
is.
it's not like impossible to get back into, and like you can just put it on easy. Like, but like I wouldn't feel good if I put it on easy.
I'm
But also, I
stubborn,
don't
so
feel good if I play it on normal either because I just die.
yeah, I'm really stubborn, so I don't want to put it on easy. But then I also want to get through all the levels with everybody still alive. So I do, because I think that's like the Fire Emblem left over in me. Is that I'm like, no, they can't die because then they'll be gone forever, even though I know that's not how this game works.
Yeah.
So I'm like constantly resetting and trying to keep playing this, and I need to get back to it because I did really like it, but it did get like a lot harder than I think I anticipated.
I have a confession for everybody listening here, and also all of our live and podcast listeners. I play all games on the easiest difficulty without even trying.
See, that's fair.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I should because I'm not as good at video games as I'd like to be, but I'm very stubborn.
I will push up if I find the game easy, but if usually I play on easy, I'm like, this is for me. This is about where my skills lie.
It bums me out when Like the only times where I'm like, oh well, okay, I have to keep it on this difficulty is like if it's like, oh well, you can't get the true ending if you do this and stuff like that. But like I have fun playing games on harder difficulties. It's like I've gotten the big boss emblem and stuff in Metal Gear Solid 4, which is like don't be seen, don't kill anyone, and beat the game in like less than 5 hours.
Yeah, and I generally, if I'm playing a game and all I really care about is the story, I don't really care if I bump it down a level. Like Dragon Age Origins, I got to a certain point in it where like a certain battle was just kind of kicking my ass. So then I decided, okay, I don't really care about the fighting, the actual battles in this game. Yeah, the combat was fine, but it wasn't what I was playing the game for. So why not play it on easy?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
weird. Mario X plus Rabbids is basically like a puzzle game more than it is like a tactical game.
Yeah,
It's just like harder puzzles, which is weird.
Yeah, most games I'll play straight away on easy, but things like if I love a game, I'll try and push myself into it. Like one game that really comes to mind is Shadow Complex. So callback, obviously, quite an old game, but like I completed that game. I did the most difficult run, the one you have 3% of the items, and you do it under 45 minutes. Like that was how deep I got into that game. And then things like if you could turn the difficulty up on Destiny, I probably would do that. Because I feel like I'm good enough at that game.
That's what the Prestige is for, right? Or the Nightfall or whatever.
Yeah, the Nightfall is extremely good. The Prestige Nightfall is is quite hard.
So moving on.
Yeah, definitely. Payday 2. Does anyone care about Payday 2 being on the Switch?
What?
I mean, it's nice seeing Starbreeze still doing stuff, but
that game
apparently they support the console versions like incredibly poorly.
Yeah, and that game, I don't know if any of you guys like really liked Payday 2 on PC, but I thought the first one was kind of fun. And it was because it was really simple. It just was kind of like playing Left 4 Dead. In terms of like you picked the map you wanted to play on, and then you did the thing, and it was okay. And Payday 2 is just really convoluted to me. There's a lot of like the progression in it is not very good. It's really like needlessly complex. And it just, I don't think that the way that they structure the game is that much fun to go through. Personally, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I've never tried it.
I like the concept. I like the concept of Payday, but I have no desire to play it.
Yeah,
I love the movie Heat.
I think the thing about the game that's the problem is that if it was more like multiplayer Hitman but focused on heists, that would be really cool. The problem is that it's more like you just scope out the area, the maps, to find the same different kinds of security systems every time. And then once you go loud, like you make the choice to go loud and then you start the heist and then it just is a shooter. There's no like, I'm going to play a bunch of stealth and do this in a stealthy way. It's like, okay, we've done stealthiness to like case the joint and now we are loud. And those are the two ways that like play the game. And I don't really enjoy that. I think it would be more interesting if it was more like an immersive sim that you kind of experienced in co-op.
So,
asynchronous multiplayer Die Hard.
So what if it was like you were setting up a heist and you were stealing something that was really important to like a really jerky dude's heart?
Like the original New Year's Eve ball.
What?
Oh, you might not get that one, but
I got you. I got you.
I got it.
I was just like, I just really like the movie Heat, so and I also like John Wick a lot, and John Wick is in Payday 2, so maybe I'll give that a shot.
I mean, it goes on sale pretty cheap. It's worth trying. Other people love it, so it's not like my opinion is the best.
I'm surprised I don't already own it, because it's one of those games that is given away everywhere forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm just thinking about asynchronous Die Hard. Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Turn-based asynchronous Die Hard. It's an adventure game. I choose
No,
your own
I-
version.
Die
They're
Hard
not
by
asynchronous.
email.
What is it? It's not even. It's like a
Asymmetrical.
asymmetric
Yeah.
multiplayer
okay.
Die
Not
Hard.
asynchronous. Okay.
Yeah, not asynchronous. So you've got one person is like your
Oh,
John McClane,
yeah.
and then you've got all the guys who are got hostage takers and the guys trying to break into the thing. That'd be
Did you ever play Spies versus Mercs in Splinter Cell?
no.
It bears similarity, kind of, to what you're saying. It was
Yeah, I
very
guess
good.
Yeah, and if anybody, if you have played Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine, that's
Yeah.
another heist game, and
That game is way better than Payday 2.
I love that game.
Yeah, that game's great.
I like the idea of playing a heist game, but I haven't played Payday 2 mostly because Monaco scratches that itch.
Payday 2 is really mean, too. It's like really like, we're going to put these clown masks on and then just like murder all these people. I don't know. It feels like it's too nasty sometimes for me. Like, I don't want to kill a bunch of civilians and like
Yeah, that's
do
fair.
that all the time. Yeah. But Monaco is just charming. It's really fun.
It's a very charming game. We should play together.
Yeah. Never finished it. Just played a lot of it.
No, neither did I. I just played a bunch of missions and played some online too. It's a fun game.
Let's move on real quick to two indie games, Effie and Celeste. So Alex, I know you're pretty hype on Effie.
Yeah,
Wanna
Faye
talk
looks
to us a little bit
amazing.
about that?
I'm super into Faye. I think the art style alone is really beautiful. It's like I mentioned, I think kind of a neon Okami is kind of the vibe it has going there. And I don't know if you guys watched the full trailer, but it actually just seems like it has a really lovely just environment and kind of mood to it.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm interested in
beautiful.
I'm interested in actually playing it to see what the gameplay is, if it's anything beyond just a puzzle platformer. But yeah, I'm super,
It reminded
super
me
interested
a
in
little bit of Everything in terms of like there's a song and an HD rumble for each thing in that game.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
look-wise.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's 3D and not 2D,
Mhm.
but like
I
the
could
kind of
see
like the aesthetic.
Yeah, no, I'm super
So-
interested in Faye. And Celeste looks really cool. It looks kind of Super Meat Boy-esque, or I Want to
Yeah,
Be
it
the
does.
Guy or something.
Yeah,
Are you gonna play? You're gonna play Faye on Switch.
I think so. Like I saw it's coming to basically everything, but I think Switch would be my place of choice for that. Speaking of Celeste and Super Meat Boy, is anybody picking up Super Meat Boy that just came out on Switch?
I'm interested. It's one of those things where I've seen it so much I've played it on Steam. I've seen it so much on Steam that paying full price for it feels very odd.
Agreed.
Just because I'm like, well, I originally bought it for like $2.50 on Steam,
Yeah.
and now
This is original Super Meat Boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Forever is not out
Okay.
yet, and this
Okay,
version does not have Danny Baranowski's soundtrack.
yeah.
Which
So
is
This is like a 10-year-old game.
yeah.
I'm not
Almost.
paying full price for a 10-year-old game that hasn't really had that much done to it.
Yeah.
And has had
Yeah.
things taken out, I would say.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I've stared at it a couple of times while kind of browsing the Switch store because I'm like, oh, it seems like it'd be kind of a nice game to have on Switch, but $15 for a game that I paid $250 for like 5 years ago, if not longer. So,
So, I think we should talk about maybe the second most important announcement of the Direct, Funky Kong.
I'm actually really pumped about that because Tropical Freeze was really good on Wii U, and I never finished it unfortunately, but I'm excited that more people will get the chance to play
Yeah.
Tropical Freeze.
I never played it, even though I owned a Wii U. So-
Yeah, I owned the game and I never played it.
It's
what
a
I-
really good game.
When I bought my Wii U, I was working at Toys R Us, and so I got like a discount and stuff. So I bought a bunch of games. I bought Donkey Kong because I heard it was good. I never opened it, and then when they were shutting down like the rewards program, they had like codes for games. I think I had traded in the game at some point. I got like $60 for it too because GameStop had like some crazy trade-in deal at the time. So I got a digital code for it, never redeemed it, and then I sold that for like $20.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
A lot of profit out of Donkey Kong for you.
Yeah. I made like $40 off Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Maybe you'll actually play it now.
I would kind of like this re-release. I never was interested in the original because I'm just, again, not super platform heavy. But I kind of hope that there's ways to play Funky Kong that are not just as easy mode, because that did look kind of cool, his tool set.
Yeah.
Wait, is
right back.
Funky Kong easy mode? Really? Is that a thing?
That was the impression I got from the trailer.
Invincible.
Yeah, it's the impression I got as well.
Oh, it's kind of like the assist mode in Odyssey or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems cool. I wasn't super familiar with it before, but I actually just, was it yesterday, watched the stream with Dan Reichert and Danielle from Waypoint. They did a playthrough for like a couple hours and it actually looks really great. So
does this mean that Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is eligible for best music in the Giant Bomb Game of the Year for 2018?
No.
It was never
Mario Kart won best multiplayer, and that's a remake.
That's the secret is it was never eligible because it never had music that was good enough.
Suck it, David Wise.
But yeah,
So-
that's
Who's going to praise the sun on the Switch?
Yeah, with Funky Kong.
With Funky. If I could play Funky Kong in Dark Souls, I would buy that.
I will.
I would
praise
play
the
that.
funk. I don't really. I don't like calling it a remaster seems weird because I don't see this hitting like the. It's like more of a demaster, I'd imagine. I don't see it hitting the fidelity of even like the PS3 or 360 versions. And like those games are already pretty framey. So like, I can't imagine going to like the swamp area. I can't remember what it's called. Like, but like kind of the second main boss. That area is going to be awful.
Isn't the Switch graphically consistent with the Wii U? And the Wii U is more powerful than the 360 PS3.
Those games were still pretty framey. It was like Batman and Mass Effect coming out on it.
I would hope. I would hope that that if they do anything to this, that they get the frame rate right. I would be fine with a bit of a fidelity decrease, but
yeah,
I would love to, because part of playing, you can play them with the S-Fix on PC, and that fixes some problems. But I would really love to play a version of it. It introduces other issues with the way that the frames skipping problems come in. I would love to play a console version of it with 60 FPS or at least solid 30.
It's locked at 30 apparently.
Yeah,
that's fine, but because that's
if it's consistent.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. I'm not very good at the Souls games. It's one of those things where I was talking with some other friends the other day where a lot of us are in the same boat where we want to be into those games just because they do play really nicely and they look gorgeous and they're interesting, but they're hard. So I'm interested. I'm probably gonna get it for Switch and then realize, oh yeah, I'm very bad at this game, and see how far I can get on the Switch. But
did they confirm it's going to be a $60 release?
It must be with like the way games are priced. If Super Meat Boy is $15.
Yeah,
I think you're probably right. I also think that's insane. I think it was nuts for that game to come out.
It'd be nice if they gave a little consideration, said 50. So not a $40 budget, but 50 maybe.
Like you can get it on PC with all the DLC for, get the Prepare to Die edition for
like 20.
20 or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't think they should charge more than 40 for it first.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I'm searching it now, and it looks like they are saying the price is 40. I'm
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think that they'll. It looks like they're opening up some pre-orders, and I think that it'll be. Looks like it'll be 40.
That's not so bad then.
But that's not bad at all.
I wonder why. Like, I mean, like obviously people love Dark Souls, but I wonder if did this to get like experience to do like to put a new game on there and just like, okay, let's see how this looks and works, and if like whatever their next thing they're doing is going to also be on Switch as well as like PS4 and Xbox.
I think that's probably a pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think
Probably,
they
yeah.
may be teeing up a Souls-like for Switch.
Chrome Hounds.
Oh, yeah, I'll be into that.
Whatever they want to do, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And if they put out a new front mission on Switch, I would just die. Well, I would play the game first, and then I would die.
Yeah, I would love to play new Chrome
Front 3
Hounds.
again. Just put it out. Or maybe they could release Front Mission 4 and 5 outside of the US and Japan, so I could finally play them.
Yeah.
So do we want to talk about what we think about the rest of the year for Nintendo? Because this is basically just until May, so basically up until E3.
So I wrote some notes down, and you guys can tell me how stupid or pipe dreamy my predictions are. But I've got our predictions for a true, real January Direct, for E3, and then my Nintendo pipe dreams.
Okay.
So kind of like I've got some fun ones in here. So true, real January Direct, Animal Crossing tease, Earthbound Collection, Yoshi gets a date, Mario Tennis gets a date, Fire Emblem gets footage and a release window, another Wii U port, Pikmin 3 port, Pikmin 4 is announced, shown, and dated for like less than 6 months, and something Mario Karty.
Party or
I
kart?
gave my theory the other day that they should like push all the kart games together and put them out with just basically remaster the tracks. I think that would be a fun time, but I think I'm the only person who thinks that.
Oh, I agree. I think that'd be great.
I have one question.
Yep.
Who is Yoshi's date and where are they going?
It's Birdo.
It's Mario,
Ew.
and they're going to.
You don't date your horse.
Maybe you don't.
Depends.
Yeah, gonna say.
I don't know how they do it over there in the UK.
As they say, if anyone's been reading Simone de Rochefort's Twitter feed about Breath of the Wild, she's going to take that horse. So yeah, that's basically like I think most of those are semi-realistic except for Earthbound Collection.
Yeah, that was the one that I was thinking. Like, I don't know if they will, but we can dream.
Just sell me those 3 games. Sell me them at like $60 for 3 SNES games. Like, I don't care. Just sell them to me.
I don't think we're gonna see a new Animal Crossing in the near future. I would love it, but I don't know. I don't know that I see it.
I could see it
be
at
that
E3.
maybe, but
I think that it's more. I think it's fairly reasonable. It mostly because they did just. It has been a while since they did New Leaf, and then since Pocket Camp did just come out, I feel like one of that, like they tend to, like with Pokemon Go, then they released next Pokemon Sun Moon pretty soon afterwards. Like, hey, so you guys have been liking Pocket Camp, then why not play this $60 Animal Crossing? It seems like that's what they've been trying to do with a lot of their mobile games. So I'm kind of hopeful.
I think that trend is definitely there. The only thing that I think that makes me less hopeful that we'll see that with Animal Crossing is that Pocket Camp is I don't really like Pocket Camp that much, but it's kind of the closest to the actual game, like the console version of the game or handheld version of the game, that any of those mobile games have been, I think. And so I wonder if their intent.
Real good.
I wonder if their intent with that was like, this is the Animal Crossing game. I don't know. It's hard. It's that felt more like that to me than it did with like Mario Run and stuff. That game and their other mobile games have definitely seemed to me to be more of like, here's this fun little mobile thing. And Pocket Camp seemed like there was some more push behind it as the new Animal Crossing. And that series is one that fits the mobile format so well in a sad kind of way, because I like the console ones, that I wonder if maybe that's how they view that franchise. But I could be super wrong, and I hope I am.
I'm imagining in the direct, black screen with a little stool on it. Tom Nook walks on, and he's like, Tom Nook walks on, and he's like, I heard that you're all excited about Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and then just starts. It says, wait for E3 when we'll talk more about Animal Crossing for Nintendo Switch.
But
Like,
he's
literally just a tease.
the whole time he's holding a baseball bat.
No, he doesn't do any leg breaking. Tommy and Timmy do the leg breaking.
Fair enough.
It's just the villager lying on the ground in a bloody heap.
Yeah.
With his pockets turned out, his wallet empty on the ground.
That's just from a brief flash, because he's in the middle of a dark room, right? So it's just flash of light, and there's the villager.
Yep.
Yeah.
Villager in the dark.
I do think Fire Emblem is almost a guarantee. I would assume that
I would
is
agree.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for that. I have never played a Fire Emblem game for more than like an hour. And
Oh, really?
that is one of those series I've wanted to play so bad. In fact, I'm actually, as we were talking about Fire Emblem Warriors earlier, I was like digging out my 3DS from a drawer so that I can like try to play those again, because I've owned a few of them, but I've never been able to get into them deep. But I love everything about what I know about this series, so I cannot wait for it to come to Switch.
Speaking of disappointing phone ports of Nintendo games.
Yeah, I never
I
tried
played
it.
Fire Emblem Warriors for like 4 months, so I would heartily disagree with you.
I really didn't like it at all.
Oh,
I
come
played a
on,
lot
so
of that.
good.
I just have a low tolerance for like some of those similar mobile games where it's clearly like anytime it's clearly like, hey, do you want to spend money on this? My brain just goes nope, and then I almost automatically stop playing it. So I've played all of those Nintendo games from maybe like mobile from maybe an hour tops. Even Pokemon Go, which probably I played for more than any of them else. I played it for maybe 2 hours, and then
I think Mario Run is the best of those that they've done personally. I don't think it's like actually that great, but I do think that with them, since it was just hey, buy this thing and play through it, it was actually pretty fun for what it was, even
reasonable.
though it could have been,
Hey, kitty cat.
Yeah. It's bedtime, unfortunately, so I'm actually going to have to go. I didn't realize how late it was. But Kitty Cat needs to go to bed, and I'm in Kitty Cat's bedroom.
Okay.
But I'm going to send you guys my list of predictions, which you could talk about,
Sure.
because it's bad.
Okay.
But good.
Sounds good.
Have a good night.
All right.
So I sent that over.
Right.
Yeah, I'll have to love you and leave you guys, but I'll speak to you again next week, or in between.
All right.
All right, good night, see you
if
then.
you're listening, you can find me on the internet. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
So, what do you think the likelihood of Tamagotchi Life getting a resurgence is?
It's almost zero.
Really, how well did that actually sell? I mean, I feel like that's one of those things that I heard about when they first released, and then maybe like a few months later, nobody was talking about it. So
That is such a weird poll, Alex.
yeah.
We've talked enough now that I'm not at all surprised that you went with that poll.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's a super old thing. I'm just like, I don't even think about Tomodachi Life. I never played it.
I was thinking
Yeah.
the way the brain worked there was thinking about the mobile games that Nintendo did, and there was there was that kind of Tamagotchi Life esque game. I forget what it was called now. I played
Yeah,
it.
Mitomo.
Yeah, Mitomo.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I played that a decent amount, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But Tamagotchi Life was interesting enough, I guess.
Okay.
Since we're on the topic, what is their next mobile game?
Oh, okay.
That's a good question.
A very good question. I could almost see something Pokemon related, only because Pokemon Go has kind of fallen off a little bit in how crazy people are about it. And furthermore, that game was never a Nintendo game. That is the most separated from Nintendo. I know
That's
we
true.
all know that, but that was the most
Yeah.
separated from Nintendo game that has released with their name anywhere on it. So
It was also,
I think you could.
it was also barely a game.
Well, that too, yeah. It's so I actually could definitely see them if we get Pokemon news, which the other day I was pretty cold on that actually happening, but the more I've thought about it, the more I think that's probably a likelihood. Just based on the response to Pokken Tournament last year, I think they probably have pushed that more than I was thinking they would have. And I think that is a case for a mobile game coming out. Maybe even that's sort of the focus of their Pokemon Talk, is they say, here's a little bit, here's deeper information on the Pokemon Switch game. Also, we were excited to show you this Pokemon mobile game. And then
Your Pokemon breeder, and you've got
something like that. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see it having integration with the full game as well.
Yeah,
or
they've
even
done stuff like that before.
Yeah, even if they had some kind of more comprehensive app that worked with, because there's always been this thing of like pulling your Pokemon up through the different DS games.
Yeah, oh my god, the way they do it for the
It's
3DS
terrible.
is awful.
Yeah, and if they did some kind of app that said, "Hey, link your 3DS, like link your Nintendo account to this, and this will be the way you transfer Pokemon forward," that could be an interesting thing, I think.
They charge you
could be
money
bad.
for that.
They do.
Yeah.
I've paid it. I don't like paying that.
I always just start fresh because it ticks me
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
I
did it to save. I got a couple of those event Pokemon where you could go into like a GameStop and they had a code for a legendary. So I was like, but what if I'll never get those legendaries? Even though I don't think I've used those since I put them in their Pokemon box. But I actually just looked up. Apparently, Tomodachi Life is the 9th best-selling 3DS game.
Holy crap! Really?
Yeah, it has. Let's see, it sold 5.93 million copies.
Wow.
Which
Surprising.
which is I had no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
So I don't think that's a. I was assuming that it didn't sell that great, but it sold a lot. So,
That's
never
crazy.
say never to more Tomodachi Life, I guess.
The Mii's are such like a small part of the
Switch.
Switch.
That's true.
Not to say that they couldn't, make them more of a thing. Like, I mean, the avatars on Xbox are still there somewhere deep in there. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I personally have no interest in it, but
Neither do I.
It could happen. Nintendo's weird like that.
Yeah. In terms of stuff that I could see coming to mobile, something like one of the WarioWare type games, I could totally see being a thing. Like
That'd be rad.
A bunch of mini games. People can make their own mini games and share them among Facebook friends or something like that.
Like a WarioWare DIY or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Or Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about E3.
E3.
Pokemon.
Is that where
I'm looking at
maybe
this list.
like if they're going to show Pokemon, usually I don't know.
I think Fire Emblem and Pokemon are probably the two big things I expect at E3 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see them maybe. I don't think they'll have anything concrete about Smash, but I could see them do like a "We haven't forgotten about you" for Smash.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that they would though. I just know that watching all the Nintendo stuff about E3 last year, every single comment was about Smash. And I know that Nintendo is not necessarily the company that's going to hold themselves beholden to the internet comments, but they have to know that people want Smash when they're looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would say about that is if they don't show Smash, it is a brand new game. Like 100% brand new.
Yeah.
And whereas if they show it at this point, I would assume it's a remaster or like, a Smash DX or whatever.
Yeah.
Smash 4DX, which, isn't a problem. That game, I like that game.
Smash 4 is pretty good, but the thing that if they show anything at all, the only thing I assume that he'll be is just like at the end of some presentation they show the Smash logo, because that's all you really need to show for people to go nuts, or is to be like Smash but for Switch,
or that they just show that Blackbird saying "Let me smash" and then saying Becky a bunch.
What?
Oh, I'll send this to the group if you guys haven't seen this.
It's going to be a turquoise Jeep. Flint Flossie is going to come out and he's going to say, "I want to smash and bang. I want to smang."
Yeah.
Smang Brothers 4.
Looking at this list for E3, Detective Pikachu was confirmed for the North America release.
Yep.
So I assume that they are going to show something about that at E3.
I forgot about
Give me
Detective
Danny.
Pikachu.
Always Sunny's on hiatus, so Danny DeVito's got time.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But
No, we can't do this.
I would really love to see another 2D Zelda. Like they did a really, really great job with
Yeah.
A Link Between Worlds. So I'd love to see what
I
That's a
actually
good
am with
game.
you on that. I think that that'll probably be the next Zelda thing you see is something 2D.
I could see that in 2019, maybe.
maybe.
I could see it talked about at E3 though.
Yeah,
I think you're right that it wouldn't come out. till then.
I could see it released 2019.
Yeah. It'd be cool if it was like
Yeah.
a Minish Cap style thing, like kind of like those old GBA games, but yeah, we'll see.
Give me GBA on the Virtual Console.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hope they'll bring up the Virtual Console. I feel like if they bring up Virtual Console, it's going to be one of those, and it's available tomorrow or right now, kind of a Virtual Console thing.
Star Fox 2 launches on the Virtual Console.
Oh.
Well,
I could see him doing that.
do you think at E3 they talk about their online service?
Oh yeah.
They've talked
Probably.
about it already. Like I think they've detailed pricing and stuff like that.
They have, but they just
think-
haven't really done much with it yet.
Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to go? Aren't we supposed to start paying before E3?
Well, they say that right now you get access to all of the features of it for the moment, but there's not really any features implemented yet.
Well, 'cause you won't get what you'll have to pay for chat and stuff, right, or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Might be, according to Destructoid, it might be getting a delay, at least for Italy. Well, god damn it!
Well,
Literally, the headline is Nintendo's paid online service might be getting a delay, and then the first line or like the header is at least for Italy.
Well,
They got you. I don't know.
yeah.
The biggest thing that I'd like to see is something totally unexpected, like something either brand new IP that like we never would see coming, or just like one of their super old franchises that we haven't heard from in a really long time, like Ice Climbers getting something really baller.
That'd be pretty good. Yeah, I feel like Nintendo's at their best when they're not necessarily playing to what everybody wants from them or is expecting from them, but when they just decide to do their own thing. I mean, would anybody have really predicted the Switch before the Switch came out? And now I love my Switch.
I feel like that's what everyone was saying about like all of the manufacturers was like it's gonna be like a portable / like a TV console, and like I think like the real details were kind of like ephemeral, but everyone was like, oh, that's gotta be like the thing. They're just gonna make one
I think the
console
surprise
instead of-
really was how well Nintendo made it work.
Yeah.
I think you're super right, but
that is absolutely for sure because they're always kind of weird with hardware since the N64.
That's true. It's that is the biggest thing about the Switch for me too. Is just that like whenever I play it, I feel like I'm in one of the Switch commercials. Like I mean, there have been several times where I've had it hooked up to my TV and I realize, oh, I have to go do something. So then I pick it up at the dock and then I play it on the bus or whatever, and then play it with my friends with the separate Joy-Cons. I'm like, okay, I'm living in their commercials. I haven't been invited to any rooftop parties yet, but there's hope in 2018.
In the middle of winter.
Yeah, it's not here. There's no rooftop parties here
No.
for the next few months. My biggest hope right now is that they'll finally bring up Virtual Console, and my pipe dream is GameCube Virtual Console.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
I think my conspiracy theory is that they're not gonna do a Virtual Console for Switch, because of the classic editions of consoles, and that I hope I'm wrong, but
That's kind of where I was leaning towards too.
but if they do it, I think GameCube is a must.
yeah. The thing that makes me hope for it is is just there are a lot of reasons that they didn't want to do, or they couldn't do the GameCube as a virtual console for Wii U, and a lot of that had to do with the controller and the triggers. But if you have separate Joy-Cons, that's no longer an issue. I don't know if that, and so my like little pipe dream theory is that they'll do some sort of bundle where you can get 2 Joy-Cons that are specifically GameCube geared, but then have a remaster of something like Super Mario Sunshine with it. I have no idea. I have no idea how close to being accurate that is. It's probably not, but that's my little.
Give people a bad game.
I like that game, but I realize part of that is because I'm very nostalgic for the GameCube. But my biggest, I've told you guys this before, but my biggest hope is somewhere getting some playable version on a modern console of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Because that is pretty much my favorite game of all time.
That would be a fantastic one.
And if I had that on my Switch, I'd be like, well, I'm going to play this 1,000 times. So,
yeah.
So, sorry, other games.
Yeah. Do we want to? Let's move through. Unless someone else has something to say about virtual console stuff.
If we were doing GameCube, I would just hope for Eternal Darkness.
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be pretty cool.
Was that a Silicon Knights game?
It was.
No, who made that?
It was Dennis Dyack.
Then you'll never see it.
It is the best Silicon Knights game.
It is.
You'll still never see it.
Yeah. Or F-Zero. New F-Zero. But anyways.
Yeah. Like, well, is that, what is it? Redout? That there was that like F-Zero-esque game on the Switch, which totally seemed like hey, let us make an F-Zero game.
Yeah. I forget what it's called, but the GameCube one was GX, wasn't it?
Because there's a game on the Switch that is very F-Zero-esque.
I forget what it's called. Yeah.
I think it's Redout or something.
It is Redout. It's a little bit more Wipeout than F-Zero, though, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so similar that...
Yeah. The idea is, because they're not just going to make F-Zero, but with like a different name, I think. Maybe, I don't know. But they could totally be like, hey, we want to make an F-Zero game. And people would probably get excited about that. What are our thoughts on Metroid 4 getting a date, or like, do we get footage?
Would that be a 2D Metroid?
Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4.
I'd assume we'd get at least something after they teased it last year. How much, I have no idea.
Do we think it's a this year game, or do we think it's a 2019 game?
That's tough.
That is very tough. I think they'd like it this year, but if we get it this year.
Yeah.
Since all they showed was a logo.
Yeah.
At E3, I would bet maybe I could see spring 2019 maybe.
My take on Metroid Prime 4 is that it's actually been in development for a pretty long time, but that they've had a lot of false starts on it. And so I think if it comes out this year, that would be like, I think I could see it happening, but I don't know that it'll be a great game in either case. I'm kind of concerned about that game.
I could see it maybe being their big, if they have, like you said, had like a bunch of a long development cycle on. I could see it maybe in filling their like holiday release spot. But
that's what I was wondering.
Metroid games don't sell that well.
No, they're fan favorites, but you're right, they don't sell
yeah. They're like cult games. So yeah, I don't know if like that actually fills their need for having like a big like a Mario type game.
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's going to be their big Mario type game, but one of the great things about the Switch in 2017 was just how like pretty perfectly timed a lot of their releases were. It felt like they had a decent substantive release pretty much every month. So I could see this being like, look at our great release for like even something like December, after if like November is the big look, this is the holiday type Mario release. But I don't know if it would be necessarily their big like push for a game in the same vein of like Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Bayonetta, or do you have something else to say about Metroid?
I was just gonna say it's not being developed by Retro, right?
No, I don't think so. Or maybe that is because the 2D one.
It's I'm looking at it on the Metroid wiki, and it's and the wiki listing for developer is quote unquote talented new development team. So
Okay. So not Retro.
It's
so
just
not Retro.
it's like internal
talented,
Nintendo.
Yeah.
So then we've got Bayonetta. I think that is a 2018 game.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think
like they released the collection of 1 and 2 in the spring, get people excited so they can play through them, and then holidays roll around and you got Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 2 was like a September release, so I think September, October isn't like too far out of line.
Yeah, I'd say November, December for Bayonetta 3 if I were going to guess. But
should I go back and play those games?
Yeah, they're great.
They're pretty
I'd
good.
say so, yeah.
Like, do you like platinum craziness?
Yes, I do.
Then yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Bayonetta? Other than I want it.
Nope.
I think you're on the you're completely right though, that I could definitely see them releasing it this year, just because you wouldn't want to release Bayonetta 1 and 2 and then go 3 is gonna be sometime so people forget about it.
Yeah.
And then do we get a Pokemon tease of actual gameplay? Because the last time we heard about Pokemon, it was a guy sitting in a chair saying, we're trying new stuff. It's going to be unlike any other Pokemon game we've made. I can't remember everything he said, but it sounded like, it's going to be ambitious and kind of what people have wanted for a long time.
I'm assuming short teaser, but not necessarily like full gameplay.
What kind of form do we think that game takes? Because I think Breath of the Wild, as much as I didn't like it, I think Breath of the Wild world with filled with Pokemon and towns to go to would be amazing.
Yep.
Did any of you guys play Pokemon Coliseum on GameCube?
Yes, that's a great game.
It is a really good game, and I'm wondering if that might be kind of a something similar to that.
Based on the way they talked about it, I don't think so. Because they're mainline Pokemon game, and I don't think those are considered mainline Pokemon games.
So Coliseum was kind of it was. Did you play it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played some of those GameCube ones. There were a few kind of like it. I didn't play all of it, but I played part of it.
I think that it'll probably be a little bit less. What I would like to see, my dream thing for them to add to Pokemon, is for it to be kind of fully 3D, like you're saying, in a Breath of the Wild style engine. I don't think it needs to be as open worldy as Breath of the Wild. I think it actually should probably still maintain the same system of zones that you load between.
Yeah.
Personally, because I think that that's important to the way that Pokemon works. What I would really like to see is if they could find a way to make the battles happen seamlessly on the map as you're running around, and then to do full animation for those battles in a way that they still haven't really done, where they've actually rather than just running up and doing a thing and then running back, they were able to make them more dynamic in the way that they looked,
so
that would be really cool, I think.
So Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
A little bit, yeah. Not super different than that, to be honest.
Okay. Just make the combat system better than that damn game. God damn it.
Yeah. No. I think Pokemon's combat's fine, and I don't know how you manage it. I think it's still turn-based either way. But I don't know how you do that, but I think that they could figure it out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. I didn't play Sun or Moon or any of those because I don't have a 3DS anymore, but interested. Detective Pikachu. No, it's Pokemon?
No, just that Sun and Moon, I feel like were a good step in. They're not completely different, but they did enough to shake up the formula that I'm intrigued to see where they go next.
They're seriously limited by the hardware they are making the games on, and by like only making them mobile games. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with more freedom
For sure.
in that way. Detective Pikachu, is this just going to be like a Phoenix Wright game?
Yep.
Oh yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, that game seems amazing and so weird.
Yeah, that's. And there's that movie. Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they get
Oh,
Ryan Reynolds to be Detective Pikachu in the game?
I don't know.
I just
look
hope
that
it's Danny DeVito. I know it's the joke, but like, he would be so perfect for it.
It'd be so good.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about Animal Crossing. So either we get some in January, March, because usually they do one around March, or E3. Do you think E3 is the time for Animal Crossing, or sooner, later?
Probably E3. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably E3 and they
Others?
have like a KK slider party.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So you know how Nintendo likes to do like their booth theme stuff. What if what if their booth was just the Animal Crossing village?
Oh, cute.
That would be neat.
Like it's not like usually they do it with their big tentpole games, like they did Zelda the one year, and then did they do Mario last year, or was it something else?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I could see them doing like a thing like that. Fire Emblem, I could see that showing up there or sooner. Hard to say. We might get more details there or something. Smash, we talked about that. If it's not shown there, it is a brand new game, in my opinion. Shin Megami Tensei release window.
Yeah. Shin Megami Tensei would be great.
I think it's announced. Wasn't that announced?
Was it?
Like at the? I think it was announced when the at the launch, or not the launch, the reveal.
You might be right.
Because
it was. Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 5 had a Switch.
Yeah. Okay, in that case,
So-
that'll be great.
Sam wrote down Persona 5 Scarlet. I guess that's like Persona 4 Golden, but there's no way that shows up on the Switch because Sony has the Persona license.
Yeah, like
Except like the mainline ones, because we'll probably get because they've announced Dancing Sun Moon or what Sun Night someday. I don't
like Persona Q, like that kind of thing, like an Etrian Odyssey style game. I could totally see that showing up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love it on Switch, but I don't really see it.
Yeah, that also took a while from like Persona 4's release, but I guess Persona 4 took a while to take off, whereas Persona 5 was hit the ground running with like its popularity. But I don't think we see anything Persona related with, especially if they've got Shin Megami Tensei stuff.
Yeah.
It could happen. But
Sam sends a message saying, "Has anyone said Mother 4 yet?"
No, I don't think so. People still ask about Mother 3 all the time, so if they wanted something like kind of explosive, they could do that, but
yeah,
I doubt it.
Explosive to a very small audience.
Right. That's true. I mean, I guess they have done that before too, because I feel like they wanted, I don't know, they occasionally throw a bone to the kind of cult audiences, but people still are asking about Mother 3, but
so then Sam's pipe dreams. I'm going to include Persona 5 in his pipe dreams because that's insane. Bravely Default Collection. I could see them doing that if they're doing The World Ends With You. Bravely Default Collection. Mother 4. There we said it. Star Fox Adventures 2 and Majora's Mask Remastered.
Ugh.
Don't do that.
They did the
Majora's Mask is a great game.
I don't.
They did the. I could see.
Not now.
I could see them putting. What if they did like a Master Quest thing for the Switch? They've already like done like the kind of retooled them for like the 3DS, and like
I think
they just did that.
To be honest
With-
with you, I actually think that that's part of why you won't see the virtual console stuff. I think that what they'll probably do is they'll keep releasing the classic editions of consoles, and with games like that, I could totally see a 3D Zelda collection of some kind coming out with some retooling, but mostly just some remastering, because they already have the Wind Waker remastered, and like you said, they redid Ocarina and Majora's Mask for 3DS. So yeah, I think up-resing that stuff, porting it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'd buy it, so I can't
It'll
even
help
be.
them sell more amiibos.
Yeah, I can't even be. Can't even complain because I would buy that 3D Zelda in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, Majora's Mask is the third best Zelda game, so.
That I think that second or third.
Yeah.
That tracks. I think we might disagree on the first and second.
We probably would, but let's just celebrate the things that we agree
on. Okay, so what are everyone's hopes and dreams for Nintendo this year? What do you hope to see or get?
I think that Pokemon thing that I kind of was outlining, my vision of Pokemon, is the thing that I would adore. I mean, I've wanted to like that series. That was one of the first video game series I got really invested in as a kid. I'd really like to see that come back in the way I always wanted it to. And they've gotten close with Sun and Moon, and over the years, but I've never gotten hooked like I did back then. Again,
I would love to see them do some form of subscription old game service. You pay $5 a month and you get access to the whole NES library or something like that.
That would be pretty sweet.
Like, especially for if you're using your Switch as a mobile console, like I think that would be ideal.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they let you download though. You might have to stream them. I mean, Nintendo's weird.
It's
so
a
that's
close.
The only reason I say that.
I can see them doing something really weird, like you can only download them to the internal storage rather than putting them on an SD card, and then
that's almost worse.
I mean, and then saying, like having content licenses on those so that maybe you can only download a certain number at a time or something. I think it'd be dumb that way, but I do think that that's the kind of weird solution Nintendo would probably come up with.
A Nintendo solution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that being said, so that and cloud saves would be my two things.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I am really nostalgic for GameCube games. So either Virtual Console or full remasters of like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is my number one wish, but the other one I'd like would be Beautiful. I liked that game a lot.
Yeah.
And it's been a while, so.
The Switch seems like the perfect platform for Capcom to bring back Beautiful Joe.
It really does. And I did a quick Google search, and Hideki Kamiya, who made it, he's interested in it for remaking it for the Switch. So I guess it's all on Capcom if they want to. But
yeah, he's busy with Kamiya. I think isn't he the Bayonetta guy?
He is the Bayonetta guy.
So he's working on that right now. But maybe it'd be cool to see.
It'd be very cool to see, and I think it is a really good platform for it. So that and Thousand Year Door are my two biggest wishes.
Not a new Paper Mario. You want Thousand Year Door?
I mean, I in theory I'd like a new Paper Mario, but I still haven't played the Wii U one. I don't know if I will if I want to pull it up. It's supposed to be better than Sticker Star, but that's not a high bar at all.
Yeah, that's not saying much.
Sticker Star was bad, and I've heard Color Splash is supposed to be better, but I just really like I like Mario RPGs a lot. I'm also a big Mario and Luigi fan. So it's one of those, if they got a good Mario RPG and they emphasized, look, this is going to be very story heavy, in a way that like the way that Thousand Year Door was, and then just that it was a full RPG rather than just being kind of watered down, I'd be really into it. But considering what they've done with the Paper Mario franchise, since I don't, I'd almost rather have that 1,000-year door.
Okay. Here's a question. How long until we see Resident Evil 4 on the Nintendo Switch?
Ooh.
That's a really good question, actually. I think that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I bet
It's
it'll
on
happen.
every other it's on
Yeah,
every other
yeah.
console.
It's
Like,
everywhere. So
it is
It is.
certainly capable of playing that game.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
to be fair, the Wii version of Resident Evil 4 was the best one. So
It was that was great. It was great. That was where I played it.
Like, I would probably buy that game a third time. I bought it on GameCube, PS3, and now I would probably buy it again for the Switch
I would
because
too.
that game's real good.
If they could integrate some of the Wii features that they did with the Joy-Con pointing somehow,
Mhm.
that would be pretty cool because it actually had cool pointing stuff
Mhm.
with the way that it worked.
that was the
On
best
Wii.
aiming system they ever had for that game.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not my like pipe dream, but because that is definitely going to happen at some point probably. But my stuff is I want to see Smash, preferably a new one, just because if they put out Smash 4 DX, they're not going to make a new Smash for the Switch probably, or it'll be a really long time. But also, like, it'd be cool just to have all the DLC people, so maybe Smash DX is the way to go. I don't know. And then to see whatever they do with Pokemon, because yeah. Also, weirdly, in that mini direct, no 3DS stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
I
it's
thought that was
weird.
interesting too.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not surprised though.
no, I mean they've got to cut it off at some point, but I'm surprised there was nothing. Not even.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
Really happy.
Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised. I know that they said when the Switch launched that, oh, the 3DS and the Switch will be concurrent, but I don't really expect that. So
We have
Even as
a
someone-
console for the people who can't be connected all the time. The 3DS.
I have the new 3DS XL, whatever the like the last one that they did, last revision that they did, and it's a great handheld.
Yeah.
But they need to let it go with that.
yeah,
And
yeah. I have the new 2DS XL, and I really like it. And I still play it pretty frequently. I did actually just buy a game for it. The new Style Savvy game, which is a surprisingly good series. But I think they just don't. They were a little bit hesitant to completely cut it off because there's just so many 3DSs hanging around that
Oh yeah.
you don't want to tell everybody who has a 3DS, hey, we're never gonna do that. But considering how great the Switch sales have been,
They're probably less worried about that at this point.
yeah,
And also, like, the 3DS library is so huge that, like, you would be hard pressed to like have played everything on there. And
oh for sure.
so, like, oh, I'm not getting new games. Well, go play the games you didn't play. They're cheap, and yeah.
Go play Style
Let-
Savvy.
There you go. Go play the Style Savvy series. Very good. Allison seal of approval.
Yes, they're surprisingly good.
So yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to talk about?
You know what I'd like to see come, but I don't think is ever going to happen? They made like an arcade version of Luigi's Mansion. And I'd like to
What?
actually be able to play through that whole thing instead of just in an arcade setting. But
That'd
I don't
be
think
cool.
that's ever going to happen for me.
I don't know
It
if
does
I've ever
sound like
seen
a
that.
pipe dream, but it sounds like a good one.
Yeah. Maybe my pipe dream is a re-release of Pipe Dream.
Ha ha ha.
how is there not a Mario game called like Mario and Luigi Pipe Dream or something?
That's
I
like a
don't know.
LucasArts game. I don't think
Is
they're
it?
gonna be able to. Yeah.
Call up Disney. One of them can buy the other out.
Oh man, if Disney buys Nintendo, that'll be the worst.
Hank Hill in Super Smash Brothers 4.
Okay, I take it back.
honestly, I think because of how well, like, if the Switch hadn't done as well as it did, that you probably that would have been something on the table for 2020. But
There-
based on how good the Switch is,
There was some article I read that was like, here's how much money Nintendo has in the bank. They could take a $27 million loss every year for like the next 50 years and be okay.
Yeah,
Or something like something insane.
yeah,
crazy.
they have that really good backup, and so like they could have a couple more Wii U's and still be okay.
Well, and the Wii U, I want to say, this is a while ago, so I don't remember if I'm totally right, but I believe the Wii U was the first console that they ever sold where they actually took a hit on the hardware.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
is typical of Sony and Microsoft. They're always taking a loss on every piece of hardware they sell. But Nintendo never did. So they just, all that Wii money was actual like profit. They weren't losing money on those consoles.
Yeah. If I'm completely honest, I'm so surprised that Nintendo pulled it off, and that we're sitting here talking about how excited we are for the next year, given
absolutely
what what a spark the Wii was. Like, it just had its moment in the limelight, and everyone bought it and played Wii Sports, and then threw it in the dumpster, and then Wii U just totally whiffed. But now they're back on top, and I think that's like super amazing.
Yeah.
And I think you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just even the fact that they can say that the Switch sold is a faster selling console than the Wii is kind of ridiculous and amazing.
Yeah, that's the craziest part, I think.
Yeah. And I mean,
I doubt it reaches Wii U like lifetime sales numbers, because like nothing is going to catch the zeitgeist like that did. But
we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I think the interesting thing too is really, if you want to really go back, like, and I don't mean this as like a controversial hot take or anything, because I love pretty much all of their consoles up to the Wii, but the GameCube and Nintendo 64 had a lot of problems too.
Oh yeah.
Like the last consoles that they had that were kind of universally fantastic home consoles was the Super Nintendo, really. So it's pretty impressive that they were able to get, and it's interesting that they have always made solid handhelds. So it's interesting to me that by turning the handheld into the home console, that's what did it.
But what I'm saying, like, I don't think that'll catch the Wii lifetime sales numbers. Like, there's no way that the Switch appeals to those like obscure, like elderly demographics. You know, you don't have like whole nursing homes playing like Switches.
They don't not playing 1-2 Switch.
but I think
maybe you could get them into it.
But I mean, like, for especially a lot of those sales, especially console sales, for the Wii, how many of those consoles bought a game beyond like Wii Sports or?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that as like a knock against the. I'm just
right. I
faster selling, but it's not going to reach those.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think that maybe, like in the long run, the Switch could be considered even more profitable than the.
Based on
Wii,
software sales.
Based off, because I imagine the average Switch owner is probably going to buy more games for it than the average Wii owner.
Yeah, I think you're
totally
right.
guessing.
Yeah, you're totally right.
They've also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, they've actually got third-party support for, like, this. Like, usually Nintendo gets like, they get some ports at the start of the console or whatever, but it seems like they're getting some better third-party support than previously, and like more interesting games
for the first time since the SNES, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. And they've sort of taken the only reason that I think you maybe will see. I think you're right now that the Switch is not the kind of thing that you'd see in nursing homes. I actually could see that eventually changing maybe a little bit, because with the Wii, they took this stance of like, let's release the console that everyone is like, that appeals to everyone, that didn't appeal to people who really love video games. And they've kind of, with the Wii U, it was a mess. Their whole strategy was a mess with that thing. But with the Switch, they kind of took the opposite approach, where they went games first and like heavier games first. And so I wonder if, as they continue to like sate people like us with those kinds of games, if they'll also start looking at ways like, I could see a Wii Sports collection being released for the Switch, or and more like, something that's fitness focused and stuff like that. I could kind of see those things happening over time once there's an established base of core gamers that have Switches in their homes.
Yep.
I'm sure there are plenty of old people still using their Wii's happily, so they
I think you're
wouldn't
right.
see the point of getting a new thing.
Yeah.
I think that would be the barrier for that. Yeah.
Yep. They're all still playing Wii Music and Wii Fit.
I would love a Wii Music port to the Switch. I think that'd be neat. That thing was dumb, but it was fun.
Or how about a Brain Age?
Oh yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
fun. I actually like a Wii Sports Resort would be a fun port to the Switch.
So,
think-
sorry. Please go ahead, Pat.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that they have to, if they really want to continue to push this, like, that notion of, like, pull it out at a party and play. I don't think people are actually going to continue to do that with something like 2K. So, they need more of those kind of games. And I actually think that you'll probably see a Mario Party in the next year, that really tries for that reason too.
Yeah. I think we've probably wrung our predictions pretty dry, but this is more of a general Nintendo question. Have any of you guys ever really, really liked Pilot Wings?
Yes.
It never, I don't know, it never hit for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very good, but I really, really liked it.
Fair enough.
I don't think it has ever been really very good, but I really liked it. I also think the first one's the best one too.
Yeah.
I would love it if they made a new Pilot Wings. If that's the answer you're trying to get out of somebody.
Oh, Andre, I don't think we're hearing you, friend. I think I saw his mouth moving.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
we
No, I had my microphone was muted.
Oh, no problem.
I just want to dump in the dark on the Switch.
Dude,
Uh,
game of the year every year. Yep.
I am honestly strongly considering buying this.
I think
Oh,
you can watch it on
no.
YouTube and you would have the same experience.
More power to
Uh,
you, I guess.
yeah, I
But-
can't.
Oh man. Hmm.
Part of me almost wants to offer to stream it with you, but I
Like-
think I would hate myself.
But like I appreciate their dedication to everything on the Steam page.
You're committed 100%.
Yeah. Like, oh man, okay, well, I'll consider it. It's
Oh,
on sale
man.
right now.
Sorry.
It's 102 yen, so that's like
Uh,
less than $1.
I'm sorry. One more note about a dump in the dark. Because I own the game, I get the recent news just by hovering over it. And their most recent
Yeah.
news was titled "From the Moist Darkness into the Frothy Light."
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Ugh.
It's and then before that, this Halloween, Clench Tight.
I don't like this.
Wait, hold on. I'm reading this more. Why early access? We decided to go early access because we are wanting to deliver a little more of a load than we first intended without keeping y'all waiting any longer for the smooth, creamy delights we have in store. So
Wait,
if you
now
feel
it's-
compelled, clap your cheeks together, hop on board, and prepare. It's time.
God.
Word.
Do you think there's people that have played this game that are like really into it? Like really into it?
Probably. I
Like,
don't want to think
Alex-
about that.
Alex, are you like averse to toilet humor in general, or is
No.
it just a bad game?
It's just a bad game. Like, I think toilet humor
Okay.
can be good if it's funny, but this game is just not good.
Like, is it so bad it's good? Because it
It's-
seems like it might be.
It's profoundly confusing.
I'll report back.
Yeah, we'll hear from you next week if you end up playing it.
That's okay. Well, if that is all, then we will wrap up. Oh, I was gonna prepare a thing with my social media on it, but you can find me on Twitter at Coolslaw COOLSL4W on Twitter. Alex,
You
where
can
can
Google
people
me.
find you?
You can Google me. I'm,
Okay.
I'm on the internet.
Okay. What full name? Alex.
Alexandre G. Gelina.
Okay, is that how? Is that French? I don't know.
Yes,
It's
it is.
Canadian, probably. That was next, Allison.
Sure. You can find me at WRITERSERENYTY on Twitter. And I'm going to be trying to do some more blogging recently, so I'll plug that next time.
Okay, and Erica.
You can find me on Twitch every night. Twitch.tv/Zupadupa, XUPAHDUPAH. We're playing Yakuza 0 right now. And my other podcast is called Tempered Expectations. You can watch that too if you want, or you can listen to that too on iTunes and SoundCloud.
It's pretty great.
Okay, and Pat.
You can find me at JesterPC on Twitch and Twitter.
All right. And that will do it for this episode of As of Yet Untitled Secretly Steamed Hams Radio. We all love memes here. Memes are my favorite.
We're dabbing into the night.
Yes. And we will talk to you next week. Stay safe. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Spay and neuter your pets.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.